Forgot to put this up. Okay. Now let's hope I can do this justice. Hey, Whitney. Welcome. Hey, Autumn. Hi, Cherry. Big Toe, welcome. We're just doing some drawing and chilling and stuff. I'm just going to be coloring this character kind of similarly to this style here just because I want to have fun. And hi, Winner. Kawaii. And Shu. Hi. Yeah, I'm just going to be coloring, so feel free to just draw along, ask questions. I don't care. Do whatever you want. Chat. Hey, Azula. Okay. Let's see here. How is everyone? Hopefully y'all are doing good today. What time do the live start? So they usually start around 1:30 PST. So California time, Pacific time. Yeah, crap. Thank you, Azula. Hey, Daniela. Yeah, we're doing good, Autumn. We kind of woke up late, as usual. But we had a good morning or a good afternoon. Did background practice today. Nice.
Coffee.
Oh, yeah, Colton make me some coffee. What are your plans today, everyone? Hey, V. Welcome back. Thank you for following, Nova. I should put a palette next to this because this is gonna... I'm tired of just, like, choosing colors like...
Sorry for the grinding coffee maker.
Yeah, it's kind of loud.
Hello, 12. Welcome back.
Hey, Sazano.
Hey, disgusting big toe. My plan is to bed rot.
That's a pretty good plan right there.
I like to have a healthy dose of brain rot on TikTok and then go bed rot.
Yeah. Crap, I'm not going to do this right.
Some comments in this live were filtered to protect the community's experience.
Y'all, chill with your comments. I'm kidding.
Hello.
Hi.
Daniela. What time does the live start? 1:30 p.m. Pacific time. So right about now.
Yep.
On Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Guys, I really like that you made a VODs channel. Yes, absolutely. We made a VODs channel. I announced it in the Discord server. If you're not in the Discord server, there's a link in the bio. So we uploaded so far the last couple of streams. Sorry, TikTok takes a really long time to process the VODs.
Because they're very long. These VODs are quite... Or like, these videos are like...
At least a couple of hours just to process them, and it's really annoying.
And the things we do.
There's a free download to the brush in our link in bio.
I need to change brushes.
For this?
Yeah, because it's just a big drawing.
Okay. Well, not this brush. This is just a basic round.
But the brush that I was
using...
The brush I was using is on the link in bio. I'm just filling this all in because I don't want to burn myself out already.
Hayden says, your streams are top tier.
Thank you. You're so sweet.
What's your favorite coffee? I like Americanos these days. No sweetener, no nothing.
I like lattes.
But I also like really sweet drinks. Frappuccinos. Hey,
yeah.
Iz.
Hey,
What do you like, Yujia? What did you like, Christina?
Lattes.
Mild lattes?
Mild lattes.
Cold lattes.
Cold lattes. Oh, they're just nice to drink. Okay. Oop.
Hello.
We should put some background music sometime.
Zen Creations. Welcome. I'm eating ramen at 10 in the morning. That's
Yum.
the life. Only stream
I contemplated. Oh, thank you. You're so sweet, Azula. Honestly, I'm using this brush here, but the brush link is in the bio.
Yeah, Christina uses that brush, but there's a free download to it in our link in bio.
Yeah.
So you can go download it. Iced coffee, yummy.
Yummy. Oh, there was one coffee that I really wanted to try, which was like a Greek frappuccino or something. It was kind of like a dalgona coffee. I am drawing our character Tira. I drew June, which is also one of our characters, and stuff like that. So I don't know if I'll do inking today, Kunihira, but maybe I can cover it in a little bit because maybe I'll cover it just a little bit. How about maybe I don't know.
Maybe a little bit.
Maybe in a little bit.
The secret to inking is it builds on everything else. So the better you are at everything else, there's no really big secret to inking.
Yeah.
You can do studies of specific artists for like line weight studying and stuff. Who are you drawing? Tira, our character.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll do any.
Ooh, that's a good idea. An inking TikTok.
Oh yeah, that actually
That's a good
is.
idea. We'll make an inking TikTok sometime. Thank you for the idea.
Thank you.
Should put that in notes.
Yeah, inking. You know what? Let me just do that right now.
She looks so cute.
Thank you.
While Christina's writing that down, this is Tira. Well, this is the girl group, and this is Tira. So she's doing her. She did her the other day. That's June right there. And so, yeah, that's in our book.
Any tips for shading and lighting on hair? Yeah, I'll do that while I'm rendering the hair because, why not? And then someone asks, "Oh, who's our favorite character?" That's really hard to answer.
Like, I'm biased because I created Miki.
Yeah,
So
and
she's
I'm biased.
my favorite. June tends to be one of the crowd favorites.
I really like
she's
June
kind of
too. Edgy.
Edgy.
Yeah.
Really need tips for sitting poses. Yeah, sitting poses are kind of hard because now you're actually forcing the character to interact with an object like
and
the
also
ground.
foreshortening.
So sitting poses are difficult. My biggest advice for it is understand what they're sitting on and what the perspective of the thing they're sitting on is.
And what overlaps are being created.
Yeah. What's in front of, like, are the legs in front? What book do you recommend to learn to draw? It depends on what you want to learn how to draw. There's a lot of good books out there. We published 2 books on how to draw anime.
I'm going to merge this, guys.
I recommend those.
I'm going to go in and merge. Actually, no. Crap. I'm going to duplicate the line work just so if I mess up, I can just color it again. So, yeah. I just feel like I'm in the painting mood.
It says, we're notifying viewers that you're live. Why
Wow,
did it say
already?
that just now?
It usually says that in the beginning of stream. So when I'm thinking about hair and rendering hair, I think light and shadow, and I'm also thinking like ribbons and stuff. Hold up, So, for instance, if I'm going to do this on a separate thing.
Maybe write out a process of what you're going to go through.
Yes. So what I'd like to do, this is my thought process on hair, on coloring and painting hair. Color hair processed.
Are you going to do hair or are you going to do the whole thing?
I'll do like a small demo and then I will do the rest of this hair to show. So this goes into multiple things. Assuming you're just going to start painting, I really recommend first starting with the silhouette. Now this is kind of hard to do because silhouette, it's like you kind of have to see within the shapes. But essentially you can start with the line work and then fill it in. And then right now you kind of just have like a blob. But the blob shape has to be pretty nice. So you kind of have to do a bit of designing while you're doing it.
You have to understand that when Christina draws a silhouette, she's not just drawing a 2-dimensional shape in her mind. Like maybe on the paper or the canvas it's 2D, but she could very well be thinking about how this thing flips over and comes out the other side. And she's thinking, oh, maybe this big strand comes in front of the little strand. So she's thinking in 3D while she does this drawing.
Yeah.
So just remember that you see a 2-dimensional shape. She's thinking, what's the 3-dimensional shape of this? That's really important. You can't render unless you know the 3-dimensional form of something.
Yeah. And by the way, this will probably go on the VOD, right?
Yeah, we're going to put this on the VOD.
So now I'm going to take this shape.
Holly, I don't know how to say that
Haley?
name exactly.
Holly?
HA-LY. There's a download for the brush for free in our bio.
So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the same shape and then just draw inside of it. And what I'm doing here is I'm figuring out how this hair is going to flip back and forth. And I'm thinking very, very simply right now because if I start overwhelming myself, then it won't turn out very good. So all these little flips and stuff like that will determine where my shadows are going to be. Rin, I don't know if I'll do one just yet. I'm kind of focusing on like hair right now, but maybe if I feel like it, I will. So here, we have a hair flip here, and notice that I'm already using this opportunity to color in the shadow. Now the shadow doesn't really matter as long as it reads as a shadow, like it's not too dark and it's not too like light to be a shadow.
What does that mean?
So what I mean is like if this hair is like really blonde, or this hair is pretty blonde, you do not want to go too dark like this. This will not feel like a shadow color for blonde. You might want to go a little bit lighter than that, like this, more so. But if you go too light, it won't really feel like a shadow anymore. It'll just feel like I don't know how to call it. Like this is still pretty pretty good range. This I would consider way too light to be a shadow. So I would say make sure it's like very clear which side is light and which side is shadow. I'm using Procreate. So anyways, once I have that, I'm also treating this like a ribbon. So I have all of my back of my sides figured out. Hi Edison, welcome back. And then after that, I figure out shadows. Now, this is assuming, I should have mentioned this before, but I'm thinking that the light source, where the light is coming from, is going to be like up here. You can do it wherever you want, but this is like the easiest way to look at it. And then after that, once I have the shadows and the base color pretty much done, then I add the shadows. Now, then I add the highlights. So the light source and how hair reacts to light is kind of like a streaky ribbon. So let me look up here. So you'll notice that there's like these little zigzag-like shapes. And actually, Colton did a really good demo on this earlier. But the reason why it happens is because you have hair strands from a microscopic level looks like cylinders. And the texture of it will look like this when it's in light. And sometimes, different hair strands will have different like heights, so that's why it creates that streaky feel.
So think about hair like this. Oh, you got all these little hairs, these little mini cylinders like this.
Wow, thank you for all the follows, guys. Look at all that, Colton.
Oh, wow. Thank you for the follows. So hair on a really zoomed in level looks like this, all right? And so the shading will go, these are all little cylinders. And so this moves up and it moves down like this, right?
Thank you for the roses.
So when you zoom out, it tends to create this zigzag shape.
Actually, you might need to make it lighter.
Like this.
Yeah.
Like that.
So this is that in action. Just in a more graphic, like designy kind of thing.
Because anime is a simplification of real life. They are simplifying what you tend to see in real life into very graphical shapes. So understanding the reason why will help you with rendering hair.
And then as this strand goes back away from the light, there will be like a slight little shadow down here and a little bit up here. And that will create this nice, like, kind of juicy look.
So a whole bunch of new people just showed up. By the way, we go live Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 1:30 p.m. Pacific. We also have a Discord server for free that you can join. Links in our link in bio. Everybody hangs out and draws. It's really fun. And then OC drawing streams on Saturdays a lot of the time.
That means if you want your character to be drawn, potentially, that's what we do on Saturdays.
Yeah, so there's going to be a channel in the Discord server where you can post your OCs, and then Christina draws them on Saturdays.
Yeah.
So just because there's so many new people here.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, TikTok will just dump like 100 new people into the stream. So thank you for the follows. Hopefully this is useful. We also have a bunch of really good TikToks uploaded, so if you want to go check out our profile, we have stuff on heads, bodies, hair, faces, all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
So hopefully you'll stick around.
So this is what I'm basically going to do
Sazan
on
was
this
like,
hair.
New friends.
So this is essentially what I'm going to be doing with her hair. It's just going to be the same thing.
Yeah. I'm telling you, if we miss a comment, our whole screen is filled with so-and-so followed the live creator. So-and-so followed the live creator.
Yeah. So don't take it personally if we miss your question. We try to answer every question that we can.
You're welcome, Zen Creations. Glad I found you guys. Awesome. Irma.
Awesome.
Glad you're here.
This is way too dark. And this is way too saturated.
Yeah, the Discord server is getting remodeled right now, by someone who reworks Discord servers. So hopefully there's going to be point and leveling systems and bots and stuff like that. Whitney,
cool.
Somebody in chat might be able to help you out. Some people occasionally have problem with it. Copy paste it into your browser or do it from a PC. Try that.
So you'll notice I'm immediately moving into dark, light, and shadow, graphic shapes.
Lauren says, love that he teaches on Procreate and not big fancy software. I would definitely consider Procreate a big fancy software. It has a lot of good stuff, but it's also very simple to use.
It's simple and it's also mobile.
Procreate's really powerful. It has a better brush engine than Photoshop and a lot of other drawing softwares. What is a Discord? It's in our link in bio. If you can't see the link in bio, send us a direct message and ask for the Discord link.
So another thing that I like
yes,
to do,
big fancy software that isn't costly. I totally agree.
Yeah.
Procreate is dirt cheap. It's only like $10-12.
If that's expensive for you, then I don't know what else is. I don't know.
For a professional program.
For a professional
that people
program,
use.
yeah, it's very good.
Procreate, Sam.
So I also have this reference right here for her hair. I'm also looking at the grouping and the high paint. I never heard of that. I see the grouping. Oh, Ibis paint. Oh, okay. Ibis paint is pretty good. I heard that a lot of people, like high-level artists, use that as well. I'd say just like learn the program more, draw a lot more on the program to get used to it, and you're good. A lot of the time, digital art doesn't really look good because maybe the practice hasn't caught up to it yet. So hopefully that makes sense.
Tell Cactus I'll send them the Discord link.
Cactus, Colton will send you the Discord link. Where does the hairline start? So, I'll do another real quick demo here before I move on. Hairline, it's hard to know exactly where the hairline starts because everybody's hairline is different. But if I were to draw a face here and I drew the proportions of the head real quick, I have the eye line, eyebrow line, which for this I'm doing more anime proportions right now, so I'm assuming that the eyes are going to be about this big. Here's the nose, which is about, closer to the eye level. Here's the mouth, which is just a little bit lower than the nose. Here's the eyebrow ridge. So the thing is with anime is that eyebrows and expressions are very varied. So that means the eyes will get really big sometimes for some very surprised faces. The eyebrows will also lift up way higher. So I would really recommend that you leave enough forehead. So I'll show you real quick. So assume that these are the eyebrows. If my hairline is over here, which it can be, it looks a little bit low for this type of character, but it can definitely work. I would recommend to go a little bit higher, like up to about here. I wish I had a ratio, but essentially you kind of have to go by vibing it. That's kind of how I do it. But essentially you want to make sure that there's enough room between the eyebrows and the eyes and the forehead itself. Some people have like receding hairlines, which will be more like this.
Michael Page, this is our character Tira.
Yes, or widow's peak like that. But essentially the hairline is where the hair roots will come out of, and so essentially the hair will go up and then overlap over. That's essentially what hair looks like.
Cupid's Nightmare, the person with the rose, send us a direct message on TikTok. I'll send you the link. Hello, Alexia. Don't forget this is a rendering stream.
Yeah, I know. I'd like to digress.
There's just a lot to get through, and sometimes these are all going up as VODs. We put them on our Stream VODs channel. So I'm trying to keep the streams a little bit more organized so they don't jump all over the place.
Yeah, you're right. I should be a bit more careful about that.
Being sidetracked a bit is fine, though.
Okay. So now I'm not thinking about like detail just yet. You'll notice that I'm not really zoomed in like this when I'm painting. By the way, the brush is in the link in our bio, by the way. So that's for free. So I'm thinking like very broad. I'm making sure that I'm finishing most of the drawing around the same time. This is kind of optional. Some people like to work differently, but I really like to kind of just like work a little bit here, work a little bit there, zoom out, look at the overall picture, and then that's when a painting gets done pretty fast. So yeah, hopefully that is helpful. But it's going to be a little bit more difficult if you don't have much experience painting. So I need help with shadow. I don't know where when the light hits. So I'll explain it right here with this while I'm doing this demo. So my light source is kind of around here, right? So that means anything that is going to hit this light is going to be in light. So that means anything that's curving up towards the light, like here, will be in light. This will be in light. This will be in light. This will probably be in light as well. Anything that is going away from it or it's kind of like in the background is usually in shadow. So you'll notice that most of the back of the hair is not going to be touched by the light as much. So that's why I put that in shadow. Right here is going to be some light. Here is going to be some light. Light, 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 light. So I kind of just think like anytime a ribbon comes up like this and light is hitting here, this side will be in light, this arch right here. The rest will cascade down from the light, so it'll be in shadow, and then it'll, you know, raise back up, something like that. So that's what I think about when I do hair and highlights and stuff like that. So hopefully that's helpful. So I'm just thinking of this in my, like, I'm kind of just picturing this and putting in highlights kind of in my head. And I also have a reference. So you'll notice that for the reference, there's like areas where the highlight is going to be, especially around apexes of the curve of the apex, curls that come out a little bit more. These parts of the hair is like way darker because it's going back in space. This is where the light source is, stuff like that. You know, there's hidden pockets of darkness in the hair to make this really nice shadow look. So yeah, the brush is in the bio. Specifically, it's called the GSS Blade 1 using the Yijunke brush pack, but the download's in the link in our bio. And let me see here. Could I get Zen Creations ask, could I also get the Discord link? It's not going through for me either. So send a DM Zen Creation so Colton can see it. Wow, we got a lot of people here. 200.
Yeah, our Discord guy hasn't updated anything, so I can't see who's joining and I can't see anything.
Oh, okay.
He did half of the updates and then went to bed.
Oh, I see.
Finishing it.
I see. So, by the way, our Discord is still kind of being renovated right now. So Colton really can't see if you've gone to the Discord or not, unfortunately. But if you want the Discord link, send a DM so we can send you the link. And if people have gone through the link successfully, be sure to help out a bit, you know, because I'm not super tech savvy with Discord and all that stuff. So y'all can help out a bit if you want. There we go. I need to add some lights here. And I'm doing these very roughly right now. So Sazanu says you can post the Discord link inside the Discord and it will post a server for you too. Interesting. Ooh, my coffee. Okay. Really good coffee. Okay. What did you update, Colton?
Nothing. Just the guy who's working on our Discord server added a bunch of new channels for like moderators and stuff, but he never updated the permissions.
Oh, I
he
see.
Just went to bed.
I see.
It's gonna be done over the next couple days.
It's like Animal Crossing construction.
Yes, Dance Mom edits. Thank you. What brushes do you use? Free brush download in the bio to the brush that Christina uses. Thank you for the follows. Lots of people here today. Thank you,
it's probably
everybody,
because
for
of
showing
Tira's
up.
face.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday streams. 1:30 p.m. Pacific time. So if you're so for California time, that's 1:30 in the afternoon. Oh, thank you for the donos.
Thank you.
Sorry, I was away. I probably missed a lot of comments. Christina's drawing and doesn't look at the comments as much. How do you shade skin? Christina will be doing that. Actually, is doing that.
I kind of am doing that.
What brush are you using right now? And for the sketch, it's one brush for everything. So there's a free download in our bio. I'm just looking through.
I'm sorry, I miss all these comments.
No, it's good. You're drawing.
Yeah.
I'm usually this guy.
Yeah. It's really helpful when you do that, Colton. So
thank you for the hair tips. I have to hop off now. Hope you guys have
Okay,
a good day.
bye.
Awesome. Hopefully you join the Discord and you'll show up again. What's your favorite fruit?
Ooh, fruit. Watermelon is one of my favorites. Peaches, like those Asian pink peaches, whatever those are. I don't know what they're called. I really like the Rainier cherries are really nice.
Hello, new here, and art looks amazing. Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So when I'm thinking of when I'm thinking of skin, I think of tone and saturation and blush. So this is the reference that I'm using for the head. It makes it a lot easier. So this is quite diffuse lighting, which I'm not really going to worry too much about.
Diffuse lighting is when there's a giant light source. You can tell by how soft the shadows are.
Yeah.
If these were really hard, crisp edges, and if you saw like highlights, it would be a much sharper light. That goes into lighting and rendering. That's a little bit complicated for the stream, but
yeah. But essentially, I'm thinking, okay, you know, and this shading the skin on a face also is really important for you to understand the head planes. So,
all right, Evergarden.
Okay.
See you later.
So when I think of head planes, this is the wireframe that I'm thinking about.
Yeah. Sleepy says, "How do you know where to shade for the face?" Is that what you read?
Yeah. Yeah.
So understanding the forms of the face.
So this is what I see in my brain when I'm coloring faces. I see here is a side of the face right here. And I don't think I'll be able to go through all this stuff right now, but this is essentially what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of the head in a wireframe. Now for anime face, it's going to be a lot smoother. So this is essentially what it looks like.
Why not J Art? There's a link in our bio for the Discord server. If you can't find it, send us a direct message. Ask for the Discord server. Do you watch Has Been Hotel? No, but I think the character, Charlie, super cute.
Yeah.
But I've never seen it.
So I think of this, I think of a sphere. So generally there's going to be some shadow around the eye and brow area because it's going to go away from us in space. This is a sphere, essentially. Then this cheek is going to come out really smoothly. And this is going to start, you know, kind of going down into shadow. So think of it like a modified sphere. So when I'm thinking about this is a sphere. This can be kind of like a sphere / a cylinder in a way. And there's like another box down here. This is kind of like a really rough version, but that's essentially how I think about adding shadows to the face. And there's like, I mean, you can already see it here. Right, there's also going to be generally like shadows along the creases of the nose and the brow ridge area right here, like this fountain shape right here. That's what I'm thinking about as well. Since my light source is up here, let me look. I'm just gonna put the light source right here so it's easier to see. Since my light source is up here, there's going to be certain parts where it's going to be in light, especially where things that pop out.
Thanks for the link, Sazuno.
Thank you for the link, Sazuno. Thank you for helping.
Hybrid fruit.
Hybrid fruit?
Probably. I don't know if I've tried one. Do you know how to make Lelouch's face shape? She'll probably do that another face, Crybaby.
Lelouch's? Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't think I'll be doing that this stream. I want to be a bit more on topic. So
it's pointy, though.
It is pointy. It's more pointy. It's more angular. Clamp has very varying styles, but it's also the same at the same time.
Clamp?
Yeah, that's Clamp as well. Isn't that crazy? So here, areas of focal point, I'm thinking nose, cheekbones, because cheekbones tend to have a bit of moisture and oiliness around there.
Yeah, did you show? Yeah, so the cheekbone would be like right in that area.
Yeah. And generally that has, like, it's kind of sharp for some people, so that tends to have a pretty intense highlight.
Dance Mom Edits, this will be uploaded as a VOD on our VOD channel.
And
so
by the way,
if you missed the beginning, we'll upload it.
You know, some may also have it around the chin, but that might be a little bit too punch in the face, so I'm not going to do that. So hopefully this is helping some people.
Emily, free download to the brush in the bio. Are your books digital art or general? Art in general or traditional? I'm new to digital. Just, they're general. They would work with digital or traditional. Generally, I would say at the end of book 1, the illustrations are made digitally. But all the principles are always the same. Most of our books are line work and simple shading, so it would be applicable to both digital and traditional. But it doesn't teach you how to use digital software.
There's usually going to be a bit of a form underneath the lip.
Do you have tutorials in YouTube? We have a YouTube channel and a VOD channel now as of yesterday. If you join our Discord server, actually, you can find our channel, our YouTube channel from our TikTok.
You'll notice that when I'm shading lips, it's very delicate. Lips are hard to do because
Do you both have art social media accounts we could support? I don't.
The only social media that we have for art and we post our art is on ArtStation.
But that's a portfolio
That's a portfolio
site. It's not really a social media.
Yeah.
If you want to follow our work, we both have art stations, but that's more of a portfolio site. Neither of us actually have any social media. Anime Academy is our social media. Why not, Jay? Try pasting it into... some people in the chat might have advice for that. I don't know. I don't join many Discord servers. What bio do I look in for the brushes? There's the link. You click the link in our bio. If you can't find it, it's drawanimeacademy.com/TikTok.
So VOD channel is basically we post these streams.
VOD equals video on demand, which means that our streams are recorded and uploaded for you to watch later.
Yeah. And thank you, Melody.
Do you feel like everyone can draw? Because I feel like I'm never going to get good at it. I like to think about drawing and art as a language. If you've learned how to speak, then I think you can learn how to draw. Because it's just a visual language. I believe everybody can learn how to draw. Lilia's giving advice for opening the Discord.
Let's see. What else can I do? Oh, I also want to add some blush around the nose. And also around the corners of the eyes because, you know, eyes are pretty. And I like adding blush around this point. She kind of looks a bit old right now, which I'm going to have to fix. And the reason why she looks old is kind of because I'm not really... There's some areas in the face that I'm not really polishing just yet.
Yeah, every good artist started off as an absolute beginner who'd never picked up a pencil before.
Yeah, we ain't geniuses here.
That's why I hate elitism in art, is because the artists acting like they've never been bad before.
I know. It's like, come on.
And the funny thing is, I've seen so many art communities ruined by elitism, where people look down on others because they're not as good. But the funny thing is that other people are better at you than stuff. Like, maybe they play the piano, or maybe they, you know, maybe they're a chef or something. Like, it's so silly.
Yeah.
I went to a school, and some of the upper terms really looked down on the lower terms. And some of the people in the lower terms were, like, really, really high-level professionals in different industries with, like, a lot of experience. It's just weird.
I'm kind of just having a bit more fun now, so that's why I'm
your
kind of
local
zooming
cheese
in.
lover, we actually have a TikTok that goes over afros.
Yeah, we do.
Where to find your references?
I don't post my references anywhere. I just find them on Pinterest, and that's it.
Yeah, there's just Pinterest.
It's just Pinterest.
If you want to see her reference, it's just this.
It's just this doll
I
head.
turned it off. I can't unlock your phone.
Oh,
It's got a
okay.
password.
So someone asked a good question about color picking as cheating. Sorry.
Show the reference.
Oh, sorry. So this is the reference that I'm using. I found this on Pinterest. I just looked up ball jointed doll head or face up, because ball jointed doll heads are similar to anime heads in terms of like their smoothness and their shape. So I like using that. And they also do like things like blush around certain areas that I find aesthetic. Like they have a certain blush on the cheeks, around the eyes, and around the lips. It's very like soft and stuff. So I love using this kind of thing as reference for this.
Is it that Gojo cat?
Yeah, it looks like it.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so someone asked, Sleepy asked, do you guys consider color picking as a reference as cheating?
I don't consider it cheating. Like, if you're color picking another artist's work, it's kind of low, like, it's kind of dirty to do that. If you're color picking a reference like a photo, it's fine. Just remember, you're not going to learn from it because you're not making a conscious decision of what color to pick yourself. But people don't own color palettes. It just depends on if you want to get better or not. I don't color pick references because I want to refine my skill at, you know, understanding color and building up my own visual library of color. But I don't have anything against it. Like, I think color picking another artist's work is kind of a low blow. But if you take a photo and you color sample from it, who cares?
I don't like this lip, so I'm just going to paint over it and finish it later.
What is your other channel? Dance Mom Edits. Look in the announcements in our Discord server. I posted the VOD channel. Welcome everybody who's new. I haven't plugged it at all this stream, but we do have an art school online. You can take it at your own pace. There's a link in our bio. It's called Anime Art School, and it teaches all the foundations of art with an anime twist. So if you want to become a professional artist someday, consider checking it out. We teach perspective, lighting, anatomy, costume, character design. I teach the environment and backgrounds class because I've been an environment concept artist for years. Color theory, lighting. We teach like different digital art programs like Photoshop and Krita and
I just don't like this.
Procreate. Yeah, Autumn's enrolled in the school. She's doing the heads homework right now.
I think I'm describing too much.
What should I do if the drawing didn't look like the reference? So one thing you can do is you can take your drawing and you can overlay your reference over top of the drawing to see exactly where you went wrong. That will help identify common mistakes. Like if you tend to make the legs too long, if you tend to make the eyes too high or low or too far apart or whatever, you can actually see that by just overlaying the reference over top of your art.
Okay, you can see here that I just flipped the canvas and now everything looks bad.
How does homework work in the school? Does everyone have it's like a class. There's a week of lessons, and then at the end of the week, homework is assigned, and there's also a demo of how to do the homework for pretty much every week. And then you can post the homework in our Discord server.
I just need to soften everything. I'm describing too much in this drawing that it's actually making her look too old.
Crafty Chef. If you can't see the link in bio, it's drawanimeacademy.com/TikTok. That's our link in bio. So it's our username/TikTok. How can I watch the stream later? We have a VOD channel on YouTube. I posted it in the announcements channel in our Discord server.
That's much better. Okay. I just liquefied it a little bit.
It's self-paced. But we have a really big wait list for the live classes right now, so we're probably going to be opening enrollments for those soon.
Okay, I'll just leave it like this. Now I'm going to work.
Yeah, it's the 12.9 Hayden. iPad 12.9 inch.
Okay, now I'm going to work on the hair because I kind of do want to do that.
Welcome everybody who's new.
Thank you for joining.
Streams Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 1:30 p.m. Pacific time. And then Saturday streams a lot of the time where Christina draws your OCs. So if you want your OCs drawn, join the Discord. Post them in the OC drawing stream or OC drawing requests.
Stream. I mean, stream. OC request channel. But that's, yeah, you can post it on Saturdays.
Des, our free art courses are our TikToks and these streams. We also have paid content like books and art classes. But we are planning on getting a free course up soon on like the basics of, anime and different stuff.
Okay, I'm really not liking this hair right here. I think it's too confusing. There. That's more like it. So what are you guys doing while you guys are watching our stream? Are you guys like kind of just chilling, drawing?
Are you drawing along with us?
Could that be kind of cool?
Mm-hmm. Lilia says, I don't have an iPad. I have a drawing pad instead. Does that still work? What do you mean, like traditional? Like pencil and paper, pen? Or a drawing pad like it connects to the computer? Everybody's drawing.
Nice.
Drawing. Love it.
Great.
Drawing. If we can inspire everybody here to draw, we love it. Rin's playing Roblox.
Nice.
12 is drawing along. Siri's drawing along. Toefungus is drawing along.
Yay.
Toefungus, my nemesis. I love you, Toefungus. I can't believe how fast you were at that game.
I know.
Dance Mom edits, don't worry. VOD channel. It connects to the computer. So yeah, if it's like a Huion or XP Pen or something like that, totally fine.
Oh yeah, I've used those like a while ago, like before I did the iPad or even like the Cintiq.
Mm-hmm. Des, the Anime Art School Complete Edition is $500. So it comes with 7 complete classes. It's a year long. If you want to find comparable classes online, generally each individual class will run you $600 to $800 each. I'm going to start drawing too. I use an XP pen. Awesome. the pad that I connect to my laptop, but it's so confusing. I like drawing on the iPad better.
Yeah, a lot of people like drawing on like screens like this, like the iPad or like a Cintiq, because it just feels more like paper, like you're drawing on paper and you can actually see what you're drawing. I actually don't mind those drawing pads either, because okay, you know what?
12 asked a really good question. Should I study each fundamental every day, or should I spend a month studying each fundamental? So the way that it's done in art schools is you usually have a couple classes at once. So you want to learn fundamentals that are more foundational at the bottom first. So for example, like anatomy and proportion, you would probably want to learn first. You'd want to learn dimensional drawing before painting, because you can't paint something if you don't know the dimension of it. You would want to learn costume or like fabric drawing before costume design. But I would recommend pick fundamentals, start learning them, and then draw in your sketchbook every day for fun as well. So that's how I would do it. But it doesn't matter exactly. You're going to have a hard time if you start, say, trying to render complex materials if you don't even know how to draw. So just be warned. Hello, comic book nerd.
Yeah, that's much better shape. As you can see, well, if I don't like something, I just literally paint over and just redraw it, because I just did not like the eyes that I had before. It looked too sleepy.
Did you learn the basics before even going to school for it? I haven't started school yet. I like to think of life as school, so I'm always in school. Just learning, studying. But before I went to school, yeah, I had already learned perspective and stuff. I wasn't good at it. Knowing something is not the same as being able to do it.
That's the thing with art as well. It's like it's kind of deceptive sometimes, because the traditional way of like learning, like how most people know it, is, oh, they study something like through a textbook, and then all of a sudden they like are an expert at it. But with drawing, it's like
Safari at?
Just do this.
Oh, it's DuckDuckGo.
So, sorry, I lost my train of thought for a second. Essentially, it's like drawing is basically learning a language. You're learning how to draw in the real world, draw from the real world, and understand how to translate that. And it's very difficult. It actually takes it takes years to develop that skill. And even now, like when I'm drawing this, I still think I have a long way to go. So it's like a forever learning process. I don't think there's ever really going to be an end to learning.
Keep this link up on your phone.
Okay.
So this is our link in bio. Right? If you click on our link in bio, it's drawanimeacademy.com/TikTok. If you go hit this Procreate Brush Google Drive link, it'll take you to Google Drive and you can download this. So that is the brush. It's that little green button. And then you can join our Discord server here, and here's the link that you can copy and paste. So drawanimeacademy.com/TikTok. Will take you to our link in bio if you cannot see it. Don't have Procreate, really wish I did. It's great.
And thank you for someone who said that the drawing looks cute.
Will your other old streams be on the VOD channel? Probably not all of them. But we'll be doing a lot more. And we always cover the same stuff because everybody asks the same questions all the time. Thank you for the...
That's looking much better. Y'all, you want to see the before and after of this eye shape? It looks like that's horrible. My gosh. Okay, that's much better. Okay. That's
Have you ever
fun.
released a digital version of your book? Book number 1 has a digital version. Book number 2 does not. But yes, we are planning on releasing that. We want to get both of our books on our own website as a digital version.
Much better.
Her drawing is exactly how I imagined my art will turn out, but never worked.
Oh, it will. It
will.
will.
If you keep
practicing, it will. Yeah, go back. Sometimes it does not like to undo. Go back.
More?
No. Like you
wanna
undo
do
too
3.
much. I want to do.
Colton crying face.
What happened?
What? Me crying, maybe? Does the book teach basics of how to draw? Yes. I can give a flip through of the book if you want.
Do it.
So this is book volume 1. And it teaches the basics of anime heads. This is like a basic foundational book. So here's heads, here's eyes, It's really hard to see on stream because it's zoomed in so much, right? Here's hair. Here's tips on rendering hair. Here's tips on hair, anatomy and proportion. So you're going to get proportion. I want to flip through this fast because this drawing that Christina's doing takes a really long time to do. Here's anatomy.
Oh, I mean.
Mad Goal says, I have the book. It's amazing. Awesome. If it's not too much trouble, could you give us a review on Amazon if you like it? It doesn't cost you anything and it helps us out a lot. So, anatomy, how to draw arms, hands. Thank you so much, Mad Goals. What's the book called? There's a link in our bio for it. How to Draw Manga, Anime Academy, Volume 1. See, Volume 1. And we have Volume 2. Volume 2 is all about character design. So this book is really cool. This book has head angles, how to age characters, how to use different shapes and heads, complicated shape language stuff that you'd learn in like a design school. We also designed out an entire cast of characters for the book, and we do expression sheets for all of them as well. These are just the heads, but every one of the characters has expression sheets. So if you want to learn how to draw different face shape characters with different expressions, it's awesome.
The link is in our bio.
Yes, there's a link in our bio.
And you can also find these on Amazon.
Yeah. So if you go to our profile and hit that link, it says, see, this is the link in our bio. Book Volume 1, Book Volume 2. It'll take you directly to Amazon. If you want to search them manually on Amazon, it's Anime Academy How to Draw Characters and Anime Academy How to Draw Manga. This is what the book covers look like. So, planning to do another book? Yes, eventually.
Eventually. I want to. I love working on the books. It's so much fun.
Thank you for the follows.
It takes a while,
cheap.
but it's really worth it. I love doing it.
Potato chip. DrawAnimeAcademy.com/TikTok. It's our username /TikTok. Would you say those who are a bit above beginner level, should they just buy Volume 2 or both volumes? It really depends. Like, if you're pretty good, they're just different books, right? So Volume 1 has a whole section on anatomy reference, posing, the basics of coloring, all that kind of stuff. Volume 2 is a character design book. So if you want to learn how to design characters and give them different personalities, that's what Volume 2 is about. So they go very well together. If you're above beginner and you want to learn about character design, I would say Volume 2. Like if you already know anatomy and everything. Volume 1 also has all the 7 basic folds. It has a whole clothing drawing section. I love the clothing drawing section.
On book 2?
Book 1.
Oh, book 1? Yeah, I do too.
Any tips on how to stay consistent with drawing a character multiple times? Create a reference sheet.
Yeah, create a reference sheet and be very aware of what you're drawing. So, like, for me, I've drawn Tira before, and I always know that she has certain features that makes her her. And so I really make sure to draw that in my drawing. And not only that, but sometimes if you're like a beginner or if you don't really draw a lot, consistency is something that you need to practice with, because a lot of the time consistency is hard to do when you are still trying to figure out all other things in drawing, right?
Style is kind of like an accent.
Style is kind of like an accent.
Like,
it is.
You have to know, like, all good artists know foundations, but
yeah.
styles is kind of like an Eastern accent or a Southern accent.
Yeah, like you got to know how to, it's kind of like style in writing. It's like you got to know how to write, and you got to know grammar and basic spelling and vocabulary in order to, like, play with the shapes later or play with the wording and sentence structure later. It's similar to drawing, right? You got to know your basic foundation for, drawing heads, faces, anatomy, clothing, in order to really express it in your own way. So does that make sense? 12 asks, is character design important for illustrators? I mean, illustration is kind of a different
Depends
thing.
on what kind of illustrator you're going to be.
Yeah.
But I mean, a lot of the time illustrators at studios were formerly concept artists who all know character design, but not necessarily. A lot of the time you're getting a reference from whoever you're doing the character illustration for.
And actually, someone asked, will you guys ever make books about perspective or like how to draw backgrounds?
That's in anime art school. I have a couple classes on that. Books are kind of hard to make on perspective. Maybe eventually. Our next book is going to be on like multi-character compositions and how to have them interacting with each other, and like figure foreground, figure background composition, stuff you almost never find in books. Like if you want to make a little comic with multiple characters, perspective itself,
It's hard.
I don't know. Probably not soon. How many colors should I use while doing grayscale? If grayscale does not have color, so 0. It'd be black and white.
Do you mean like how many values?
How many values? It depends. There's different kinds of studies. There's 2-value studies where you use just black and white. There's 3-value studies where you use 3 values. There's
limited,
like 5-value systems. It just depends. So that's entirely dependent on what you're trying to learn and how you're studying.
Someone asked a question earlier. How can you find your own art style? It's always very difficult for me to find an art style.
Your art style emerges over time based on what you enjoy drawing. I would recommend learning foundation and just draw what you enjoy, and you'll naturally get an art style.
Yeah.
They asking how to get an art style.
Yeah.
If you really want to learn an existing art style or kind of be inspired by someone, do specific studies of that person's work. So go in and and draw, say, your favorite artist. How do they render? How do they put shadows? How do they do hair? How do they do line work? But again, like, you won't learn very much if you don't know foundation.
Yeah. A lot of people, and myself included back then, used to think that style was everything. But style is actually like paint.
Style's like an accent.
Style's an accent.
Style's like an English accent. Like, do you talk like British or do you talk like an American? Like, they both know how to talk. They both know how to spell. They both know punctuation. They both know grammar. But accents get all the attention because they're on the surface.
They're flashy.
So
Yeah.
if you want to develop a really, really awesome style, learn foundation. Love how you guys are scrolling back to never miss a question. Yeah, a lot of followers coming in. Thank you for the follows, everybody. Celeste Bunny, we're going to upload this on our VOD channel. Is drawing scenes from movies help with composition? Absolutely. That they're called movie studies.
Yeah.
And people do lots and lots of them. I've done a lot of movie studies.
I need to do more movie studies.
So study really well composed movies. Stuff by like Kubrick, Stanley Kubrick. Stuff like old classics as well. I did a lot of studies of old Spielberg movies. Alien, Terminator. Classic iconic movies, The Matrix. You're welcome, La Waifu-san. Yeah, like, Christine and I are professionally trained, so we're always going to go back to learn foundation.
There's no trick.
We sound like a broken record. There's no trick to art. It's just, like, yeah, there's no trick to art. Just a lot of practice and a lot of grinding out foundation. It sounds boring. Everybody wants to hear the secret.
But there's no secret.
There is no
There's no
secret.
secret sauce. It's just you practice.
But that's good.
That's okay.
It's good that there's no secret sauce because it means everybody
Everyone.
is on the same playing field. What app are you using? Procreate. On the iPad.
So like a lot of time when you see like other artists like social medias and stuff, they mostly go through things like, oh, I'm gonna draw this in the way like how I do things. Like this is how I shade hair, or this is how I draw clothes. And they do a very specific style that's specifically to them. And then a lot of people think that's the only way to do clothes. But the reality is that there's multiple ways to do everything. And there's no right way.
Did you guys ever do anything for animating? I don't know any animation at all, so I can't teach it, unfortunately.
Yeah, I
would
that's
like
out
to
of my league.
eventually learn animation, but it would be years before I'm good enough that I would feel comfortable teaching it. Rin says, okay, but this looks magical.
Thank you.
She's pretty.
I like drawing Tira. She's She's like the elegant, coquette type girl. Elegant, mature.
Wake up, draw, eat, draw, sleep, repeat. Yeah, that's how you get good.
Yeah.
That's how you get real good.
Just make sure to take care of yourself.
Yeah. And make sure that when you're drawing, it's like intentional practice.
It's not just like blind. You're not just like doodling random things out of nowhere.
Yeah, think about how fast would you learn the piano if you sat at the piano for 15 minutes and you just pressed a bunch of random keys and then left? Like, would you learn how to play famous songs? Would you learn how to proper hand placement? Would you learn, timing and rhythm and music theory? That's how people try to learn drawing, is they just sit down and kind of scribble on the paper with a pencil, and then they're like, why don't I know perspective now? It's like, well, perspective is something that you have to learn. It's kind of like math.
You have to physically train yourself in a way. And it's hard. That's why a lot of people take classes to get them to do it.
Yeah.
When I went to Art Center, which is an art college in Pasadena, California, I was like, I have to do the perspective class. Like, I have to try hard on it because I don't trust myself that I will actually do it on my own, so I have to have accountability. And accountability is actually, like, really important for if you want to become a lot better, because, I mean, it's better to have a coach, in a way. More motivating.
Accountability is just someone who gets you to do it.
Somebody who just gets you to do it. And you have to be responsible to meet up with them and blah, 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 whatever. So, yeah.
Do you also use Clip Studio? Christina used Clip Studio a long time ago. I've never really used it. I have it. I haven't really used it.
I haven't used Clip Studio in a long time. I used to use it before I used Photoshop, and now I primarily use Photoshop just because, I don't know. It's a great program. It's a great program.
A lot of pros use it.
Yeah.
She looks like that very, very long hair girl from Tangled. Rapunzel?
Rapunzel. I like Rapunzel. She kind of does.
Rapunzel has the ingenue face.
Ingenue face, yeah. Basically means an innocent girl. Oh, can you get the fan? It's gonna get... Every time for some reason on stream, it just gets kind of warm.
Well, we are in Arizona.
We are in Arizona, that's right. So let me just read some stuff. What color will you use for the bow? I'm going to be using kind of like a off-white, like a cool off-white, because that's kind of her colors. But I can change it to a different color. Maybe I can change it to like a satin kind of dusty pink. I think that'd be really cute.
I think V asked earlier about white hair.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I can do white hair.
See, value is relative. Like, you can create value groups of, like, relatively. Like, if you're in a dark room and there's a very dim light, you can still tell when an object is white, even though the actual value of it is very dark. So, drawing white hair is about reserving the end of your value range.
Okay, so, wow, this actually looks pretty nice, don't you think? Anyways, so, white hair... I'm going to use a gray background for this because it's probably easier to see.
Artists have a very limited, an extremely limited range of values to choose from versus the real world.
Yeah. So a lot of time when you want to do white, the best thing to do is not to make your base color white like this. The reason is because you won't have enough room to add shadows or any other highlights. So I would actually start with a dim, like kind of like a cool or whatever, warm gray, whatever.
It depends on your lighting.
Depends on your lighting. Let's just do a warm gray for now. It'll still read as white. You start off with a base that's a little bit darker, like this. This is assuming that this is under like a natural neutral light. And then you add shadows. That's also more towards like a desaturated tone, but try not to make it too dark. This is too dark. I'm kind of going a little bit lighter.
White absorbs a lot of bounced light. So the shadows tend to not be very dark in most situations.
Yeah. And then when you add in the shadow, make it a lot more bright. And all of a sudden it looks like white hair. Now I need to like clean this up and stuff, but you get the point. So and not only that, but this isn't pure white, by the way. This is like almost white, but it's bright enough to read.
How to study perspective? Just drawing boxes. How to study perspective? First, you have to learn perspective. Just drawing boxes isn't enough because most likely your boxes will be wrong, and then you'll just draw a bunch of boxes incorrectly. So you have to learn perspective. You have to either learn it from a book or take a perspective class or find it on like YouTube or something. People don't invent perspective from their heads. You're going to have to learn it. And then do exercises where you draw boxes and objects correctly in perspective.
That's the hard part.
Yes.
Correctly.
When you practice something, you have to make sure that you're putting in a large effort to do it correctly. Otherwise, you may build wrong habits.
And don't wing it. Please don't wing it, especially when you're practicing. I winged anatomy for a very long time, and all of my drawings looked off until I had to actually learn how anatomy works.
If you want to become a professional artist.
Yeah.
If you want to become a pro, you can't skip foundation.
If you want to get better, you also can't skip foundation, but it just depends on like how far you want to go with your art.
Yeah. There's like whole videos that break down the fact that artists have a very limited value range. We only have white to black paint. And so you have to squeeze in and use even less of that range. Less is more in art. The more that you can show with less.
What's going on? Oh.
The skin.
Oh, okay.
The better.
Oh my God. Hold up. We got to do this thing. Hold up. Okay.
It never works. TikTok boots us off if we don't play a little puzzle game. What are the foundations? Let's see. Figure drawing, which would be like proportion and anatomy. There's design. Design is a really big subject. There's like within design, there's like shape language, there's form language, there's color design, there's composition. Moving on, there's dimensional drawing, which would include anything that's drawn that occupies a 3D space, which is literally everything, because everything that you're going to draw pretty much occupies 3D space in some way. Which would basically be perspective, right? I like saying dimensional drawing rather than perspective, because as soon as I say the word perspective in everybody's heads, they go 1 point, 2 point, 3 point, 1 point, 2 point.
You want to give a little example? I don't know if you want to. Like of dimensional drawing?
Well, this is dimensional drawing.
That's true. That is dimensional drawing.
There's a 3-dimensional form right there.
Understanding that.
No, Cherry, she's doing basically a whole head face render.
So there we go. I got to look at my reference again.
Other foundations is like lighting, painting, rendering. Rendering and painting are different. Rendering is showing everything. Painting is showing as much as possible with as few brushstrokes as possible. Like, think John Singer Sargent or master painters. They use as few brushstrokes as possible. But rendering is like you show it all. What brushes are you using? Mia, there's a free download to the brush in our bio. Our link in bio. Did she use just one brush to draw the whole thing? Yeah.
Oh, crap. I used this on the wrong layer. Okay, there. I don't like using too many brushes. It just confuses me. So I always just stick with one. And then if I want to go for like a sharper edge, I use like a hard brush.
What's your opinion on AI art? AI art doesn't make me mad. I don't think it's going away. I think that right now there's really unethical things going on in the AI industry. But I think eventually those unethical issues will be resolved and then AI will be here to stay. I don't think it's going to make most artists lose their jobs. I think it depends on what industries. I think people are always going to value traditionally created art. Think oil paintings, pastels, traditional.
Handmade. The thing is,
I would rather AI not exist, but that's not going to happen. I think it's super dangerous.
I think we're coming from a different kind of viewpoint with art. Like we have a different belief about what we believe art is like and how we treat it. Like for me, this is a throwaway piece for me. You know, like it's not personal. And when I see AI, like it looks cool. Yeah, like yeah, definitely it kind of sucks sometimes to see really good art that's made by AI, and it's very deceptive. But at the same time, it's kind of like we kind of have to accept that we're gonna have to live with it. So you might as well see it as a tool and use it to our advantage as well. So it really just depends on where you stand with your opinions on it.
I think it's good for people who want to draw but can't due to disabilities. I think it's helpful for them as well.
I think to those who really...
I think calling it like, yeah, I mean, I would definitely agree with that. I think it depends on your definition of what art is, but like, yeah, it still doesn't change the fact that it exists. Like, I don't really consider it art, but it still exists. So like, I don't really think it doesn't change my opinion on it at all. I don't like it. I would rather it not exist, but it's not going to not happen, or it's not going to stop existing. For beginners, do you recommend learning/practicing on paper or digital? It depends on what you're learning, but either or. If you're learning digitally, just make sure that you're limiting your tools, because digital art can be very overwhelming. Like if you're learning how to paint, use limited palettes, like what you are forced to use in traditional art because of limitations of colors. Digital art is very risky to learn painting for a beginner because you have unlimited control. It's like let me think.
It's like a wizard or a beginner wizard.
It's like a teenager learning how to drive, not in a parking lot in a slow Honda, but on a racetrack with a race car. There's just too many buttons and gadgets.
There we go.
AI is already being used in the game industry, by the way, a lot. Like studios, clients, everything. If you want to be a concept artist, like concept art is still around and it's still going to exist, but just understand that AI is becoming an integrated part because it speeds up things so fast. And it's production art. It's not illustration.
If you're an illustrator, it might be a little bit more risky, like for AI art to probably take over your job. But then again, it just depends on what you do. Like if you're a beginner, you got to make sure the art's, I mean, if you want to be a professional, you got to make sure that the AI art, your art looks cooler than the AI art. It's kind of like, that's almost like setting a benchmark in a way. But
Depends what you're doing.
It depends on what you're doing, yeah. We always say it depends on what we're doing. Depends on what you're doing, because not every art thing is the same. So, oh, thank you, Chizara. I'm really liking her hair. So you'll notice that when I'm doing her hair, I'm kind of adding some like more subtler shadows in this in these strands here, and I'm actually using the base color as a highlight. So I think that's always interesting. I like doing that, and I like seeing when artists do that. So that's what I'm trying to do as well. And you'll notice that I'm using the shadows to create like interesting shapes within the hair, so it feels a lot more interesting to look at.
Do you draw animals or just people? Mostly just people.
Mostly just people. I'm not an animal artist, so I'm like, that's not my expertise. I feel like there's just types of people who just really love drawing animals and just really love drawing people, and then there's people who like drawing.
What's your art process for an illustration, sketch, line art, etc.? I actually expected Christina to list out her process earlier, but she never did.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So she generally it depends on, again, everything is nuanced, right? That's why so many of the times answers are, it depends. Like, what is the final artwork going to look like?
Oh, darn.
That's going to depend. That's going to
I gotta flip the canvas.
Modify the process.
There.
If it's a painting and there's no line work, then there would be no line work.
So this is how I do, like, you know, kind of illustrations like this. Like this. This is this process for what I do for this kind of illustration. I start out with a sketch, rough sketches, because I have to think about the composition. I have to think about like the poses, and I do very, very rough because it just helps me to get the ideas out.
Yeah, if you go with your first sketch, odds are it's not a drawing worth spending 20 hours on.
Yeah, so I make like, you know, maybe 6 rough sketches and just choose 3 more, you know, then I go for more like just sketches. So I choose the ones that I really like, and then I refine them a little bit, and then still, you know, it's still going through the refinement process. So then after that, I pick the one that I really like, or 2, or 1, and then I refine it. That means refine the anatomy, correct anatomy.
Just anatomy.
Yeah, I'll just say anatomy. So that means anatomy, figuring that all out. Clothing, make sure the clothing looks good.
Folds are in the correct places.
Hair is in the right place. Just make sure that everything is like, what'd you say, like refining, maintenance or something?
Fish jacks, probably in certain industries.
This is optional. But I would recommend... Well, go ahead.
No, I'm just answering questions as well.
Okay.
Or I'm just looking at questions.
Okay.
If you want to be a comic artist, you just need to know how to draw everything. Nobody knows how to draw everything. Well, remember, the whole world is made up of things that can be broken down into simple forms. So if you can draw simple forms from any angles, then all you need is a reference, and you can pretty much draw anything from any angle. That's what foundation gives you. So, yeah, like, you can draw everything if you know the basics of foundation.
So I'm going to go back to this topic here real quick. So number 4, I like to do rough colors if I haven't figured out all the colors yet. This is when I figure out, lighting situation, lighting.
Don't you go through an illustration in our book?
I do. Right there.
Rough sketches. Rough.
I pick one, I refine it.
But look, she drew the body here.
Yeah.
Because she needs to know the anatomy.
And then this is
the sketch over top of the anatomy. This is the rough values, flat.
Base colors.
Shadows.
Darker shadows.
Highlights. And then there's the final.
And that's more like final touches.
You don't have to use that process. Everybody... How to learn foundation. Take foundational classes. They teach them in design schools. We teach them in anime art school. You can find them online. Usually you just have to take one class at a time. Like sign up for each individual class. Brainstorm School has good foundation classes. CGMA has decent foundation classes. There's books on them. There's a lot of self-taught people out there.
So this is the process that I use for like most of our Anime Academy illustrations, kind of like your traditional anime drawing illustrations and stuff. So after I do rough color, which I figure out the lighting, the values, and the color of the illustration, then I'm ready to do my line art and if I'm happy with the illustration.
So something I want to point out about this is the main reason this is done is because it isolates individual things and allows you to focus on one thing at a time. And the better that you can focus on one individual thing at a time, the less overwhelmed your brain is going to be and the better your image is going to turn out. That's why rough sketches is rough sketches and not painting. That's why refined sketch, that's why anatomy, clothing, and fixing, I don't know what fixing is,
things.
but is individual components.
So rough color is basically just kind of like a rough sketch of the coloring. So
it's a sketch that's not detailed, that basically lets you know if you're going to like the final colors you've chosen.
Yeah, like, this is what I see when I think of rough color. So I think, okay, maybe it's in a green background, maybe the character's in a dim light. I don't know, I'm just doing whatever. But you'll notice that it's not very refined at all. Oh, maybe like the shadows will be like really, purplish, and that's bad.
It's the difference between rough sketch and just sketch. Rough sketch is like a napkin sketch. You just scribble it really fast.
But you'll notice that this is just not very clean, but it gets the main idea going so that when you actually do color it later on, you'll already have this as a reference for yourself to use, and you don't have to like just guess it out of the blue, So that's and base colors is when you figure out the rough colors and then you just start like putting in the flat colors. So let me look here.
What's your favorite? You mean favorite step? Probably the earlier steps. That's the funner part because it's the thinking, creating part. So, rendering is boring. Like, you just spend 20 hours, like, rendering out hair.
So this is flat color. Basically, your base color that has no shadows or lights. This is what you start with, usually. And then this is, like, the process. So shadows, darker shadows, highlights, and extra details. So that's a process that I go through for coloring just basically anything. So how long does it take for me to do an illustration?
Depends on the level.
Depends on the level of detail. Like this.
This illustration she drew completely during the stream.
Yeah.
And she started what? When was it? 1:30?
Yeah, like we're around 1:30. 2:53.
So an hour and a half, a little bit less.
But this is still not very refined. If I really wanted to go like really deep and clean, it'll take me probably like more hours than that.
Fish Jacks, that's a really great question. It depends entirely on your level of confidence. Like, Christina's not afraid that if she messes up on something, she needs layers to help her undo. Like, if Christina messed up on an eye, she could literally just do this and repaint it, and she wouldn't care.
Yeah. In fact, I did that earlier in the stream. I don't know if you were there.
If you're not comfortable doing that, then I would save layers.
Yeah.
Christina doesn't need to save layers because she knows how to draw an eye, and she could just draw it over again.
And I kind of work destructively.
Arrow says, my appointment got done early. Welcome.
Awesome.
Good to see ya. I love rendering. I like rendering too. It just takes a long time.
I like it too. It just takes a long time too. I like this part, like where I'm kind of just like doing whatever. I'm not really too focused on making it super polished, but it's just kind of like, it just looks pretty. I like doing that.
You have to use the color difference. I don't know what that means, School Lore. Do you have to use the color difference? Color temperature contrast make things more interesting, but you can do like monochromatic. But remember, monochromatic generally still has color temperature. You're just using gray instead of a different color. It's like blue next to gray. Gray is going to be warm and blue is going to be cool. But gray next to red, the gray is going to be cool and the red is going to be warm. That's basic color theory. So you can achieve color temperature with one single color in black and white. In fact, there's paintings out there that you would swear are full color, but they actually only used one color in black and white.
It's because some blacks have
effect modes on layers like add or stuff. Okay, I assumed they didn't mean that because Christina hasn't used any effect modes or anything.
It's not required.
It's definitely not required.
It's more like a stylistic choice.
If every company used AI, wouldn't they all have the same art style? No, AI can be trained on different sets of images. That's why AI can do like anime and realistic and stuff like that. I don't know a lot about it. But yeah, the funny thing is, like nowadays with how primitive it is, you can generally tell, like the AI art style that's out there right now, I don't think is very good looking. But when people start special training models, like when a company has their own giant library of reference that they own and they train the models on it.
Oh, that's when you're going to start to get more unique.
The thing that I'm excited about with AI is intelligent NPCs in games.
Yeah.
Like when I can go into Skyrim and talk to an NPC and they can actually come up with answers to questions and invent quests and remember conversations, that's really cool. I think that's going to be fun. AI can't take feedback, but you can definitely mask out areas that you want to keep the same.
I gotta draw this ribbon now.
AI doesn't bother me because I enjoy art for the sake of creating art. And so it doesn't take away my ability to experience the world more vividly by learning about it. I think there's a lot of unethical stuff going on right now with AI and everything. But I mean, I think there's unethical stuff going on everywhere. Just look at politics or government.
That's true.
Like, what's new? The world is super corrupt. I just want to live my best life. Is it better to try to get the colors you want for the final form from the get-go, or are tone curves okay? I don't know what tone curves are. Is that like an effect or a filter or something?
What?
What do you look up? Satin bow. Hair. Hafe.
Hafe. I want pink. I should have put pink. I really like this, though. So I'll use this as a reference.
Is it okay to use references? I feel like I'm cheating. Not cheating.
I'm literally using this right now for my reference. And I've used actually more reference. I've used this reference. And I've used this reference here for the face. I just kind of, did my own thing with it. But no, it's not cheating at all. And whoever says it's cheating, they don't know what they're talking about. The only thing that would be cheating, of course, is stealing the artwork. And of course, you don't want to do that. But that's,
yeah,
I mean,
the most famous artists throughout history literally dressed up their friends in costumes, took pictures of them, and used that as reference. I just showed some Norman Rockwell art the other day on stream where there's a book about him, and he has his friends dress up in costumes and sit in chairs, and he paints them and he takes pictures of them. A lot of artists do it. Reference is not cheating in the slightest. And anybody tells you who it is probably really, 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 really bad, because how would you know what something looks like without reference?
Yeah, exactly.
Like if I told you to draw some obscure fish that you've never heard of, how would you be able to draw it? Like you don't even know what it looks like. Tone curves are for editing colors, tones, hues, saturation, its effects. I've never used it.
It's a color balance or something like that. I mean, if you are unsatisfied with the original colors that you chose, then yeah, change it.
Yeah, digital art is great for modifying stuff if you're not happy with it.
I love this brush. It's so good.
Yeah, tracing and references, but even in the professional world, nobody cares about tracing. Like if you trace someone else's art, that's one thing. But I mean, concept art is full of photo bashing. That's literally using photographs in your artwork. And illustration too. Like if you're paid to do a job, as long as you own the copyrights to that work, you can do anything you want. You can do photo bashing, you can take a picture of your cat and trace it and put it in the background of your image.
There's no
it's
rules
it's about intellectual copyrights. Heck, you get work from clients. Like in concept art, I got work from clients all the time where someone on the project had already drawn something and they wanted me to put it in my concept art. Like that's all internal stuff. It never gets released publicly. And they own the copyrights to it. Yeah. Yeah, definitely V. Tracing someone else's artwork and telling people it's yours.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's a no-no. That's a low blow. It's kind of like learning etiquette, but like sometimes like not everything works that way.
Brush, his bunny is in the link in our bio, free download.
Shade ribbons if you want to color hair. That's all I have to say about that. But you can basically see that I'm basically just doing the same thing over and over again. It's just in different areas of the hair.
How do you get a job in the art industry after college or during? I can't help you with that, but I would say the better question to ask is how do you create art at a professional level? Because once you do that, you don't really have to worry about how to get a job. The clients come to you. So if you're not getting a job, it's because your level is not, you're not at the level
of
employability yet. Assuming you're posting your work like where people can see it. Word spreads. When you're good, you get hired. So focus instead on reaching the level of employability in art. Do you need to develop your social media first? It depends on what you're doing. Probably not. I never had a social media at all and was a concept artist working full-time for years. All I had was a portfolio online. What's your names? Colton and Christina. Oh, V got hired to make something.
Some stickers?
No, they ran out of characters.
Ooh.
Is it better to enjoy art or focus more on improving? Both. It depends. Think about it as like people going to the gym, right? That's how I like to think about it. Some people enjoy going to the gym to try to reach new personal bests, right? They try to lift more than they did yesterday. They enjoy that. I don't think they're mutually exclusive. You can enjoy trying to improve, and
it's
you
not
can
an
also
either
just
or. Yes,
and you can also just enjoy doodling and messing around.
It depends on your goals, of course, again.
And it depends on your goals, yeah.
Like, if you want to be a professional, like, you got to have a balance of both enjoying and, goal, like, improvement-oriented stuff. If you really are just wanting to be a hobbyist, then have fun with it, So, yeah. Okay, now I got to add the bow because I need to find a better picture.
Yep, married for 4 years.
Yeah.
Someone says, in your opinion, what's worse, traced works or AI? If you're tracing someone else's works, like, it just depends. Like, AI at this point is legal, right? AI at this point, like, I don't think that all the laws and stuff has caught up yet, and I think that people are taking advantage of that, but in a couple of years, I think it's going to get resolved. AI is not going away. I wish it didn't exist at all. But I'm excited for intelligent NPCs in video games, I can tell you that. I got a... Oh, that's cute. Little chibi characters for a website.
Oh, that's cute. Yeah, if you... I think it's fun to get paid for, like, stickers and stuff. So you can try those out. Like, actually, I heard that... Is Fiverr good for illustration? Like, people who would do, like, stuff...
I think there's decently high-level artists on Fiverr. Like, you can hire really high-level people on Fiverr. They charge a lot. I don't use Fiverr a lot. In fact, this is, like, my second time using it.
Well, there's an option.
How many hours do you all draw usually? You have to understand with that question, the actions that you take to get on top of the mountain are not the same as the people take who are already on top of the mountain. Not saying that we're on top of the mountain, but like Christine and I are both professionals, so if we stopped drawing for a year, we would still be able to get work because our work is pro. But if you're a student and you want to learn how to become a professional, I would definitely advise student type work schedule. When I was a student, I generally didn't go below 5 hours a day of practice most of the time. But it just depends. It depends on what job you want. It depends on what your goals are. I'm not saying you should do that. I'm just saying that's what I did.
I don't like this. I have to pick a better... There, that's better.
Commissioned an artist from Fiverr, and it was super inexpensive and amazing quality. That's great. Fiverr is great for that. Procreate. We also have a Discord server if you're new. Link is in our bio for it. We hang out.
Have fun,
share art. Not at the moment, Jamie. No pets.
I want a cat so bad, though.
How do you learn color harmony? Painting a lot. Limited palettes. Color is not very important. Value is much more important. But color harmony generally comes from using a limited palette of colors. Color is one of the most open to...
interpretation.
One of the most flexible things. What's your favorite cake?
Ooh, chocolate pistachio macaron cake.
Pistachio macaron cake. There's a patisserie here in there's a patisserie in Scottsdale, Arizona that's really, really good. They have a chocolate pistachio macaron cake. It's super good.
I just don't like
But it's really expensive. So we don't get it very much.
Yeah. It's basically like a combination of chocolate and pistachio flavored mousse with macaron base, It's so good. That's more like it.
May, it's a Procreate and an iPad. Calico cat.
Aww.
Yeah, we have some of our freezer autumn. We got one for our anniversary and we cut it in half and we put half in our freezer.
Yeah, it's so good. That's one of the things I would indulge in more often.
My cousin is from Arizona. Nice.
Oh, sweet. I'm originally from Miami, and then I moved.
Do you mean copying or coping? Because those are definitely different. I'm guessing you mean copying. Fish Jacks, foundation. The stronger your foundation is, the less you have to copy. Like, Christina's drawing a bow from a completely different angle. Like, she's drawing the opposite side of it. Because she knows how to draw cloth and fabric. She's actually just looking at what the forms are. She's like, what does a bow look like? How is it tied?
Where the shadows are, where are the folds.
The way that beginner artists copy is not the same as how professional artists copy.
Yeah. So if I'll have to show you an example real quick, but after I color this thing in. So this is how I used to think studies were like. Honestly, I'm really happy with this.
Autumn, JL Patisserie. There's actually one kind of closer to you, I think.
Yeah, there is.
One in, like, downtown.
Yeah, something like that. So if I were to just draw a reference from, if I were to just draw a bow as a beginner, this is what I used to do. I used to be like, okay, I'm going to draw this bow. And I would literally just like go, okay, so I guess the shape is like, I mean, I can't draw bad anymore, but assume that this is a bad drawing.
By the way, that's not sarcasm.
No, I'm serious.
You
like
lose
I
the
can't.
ability to draw bad because your muscle memory knows good shapes.
Crap, I don't know how I'm going to do this. Well, essentially, it's like I'm not thinking, I'm just copy. I'm just being a copy machine right now. I'm thinking, okay, there's, I mean, this, I think, and that, and I don't know what this is doing, but I'm going to draw it here because this is part of my reference. And okay, so there's like some line here for the ribbon, and okay, well now there's like these little crinkles.
She's copying the two-dimensional shapes that she sees.
Yeah.
Without understanding what they're doing.
Yeah. So, and I used to color like that too. So if I were to color this, I would be like, okay. Here, I'm just going to paint this like this pink first. So I'm like, okay, I know I have to do a base color. Let me just see if I can do this fast enough.
I think they get the idea.
Yeah, you get the idea. So now if I were to pick a shadow, I'm just going to pick a random shadow here. I'm like, okay, I see like all this detail and I want to do that automatically. So I'm like, okay, there's a shadow here and a shadow there. And oh, there's like some detail here and detail here. And okay, there's a shadow here with a bit of wrinkles. But notice that when I'm talking like this, I'm not thinking, where's the light source? Where's the bounce light? Where's the core shadow? I'm not thinking of anything like this. I'm just focusing so much on the picture that it's taking all my mental space. Now, this is totally common. I did this so many times without knowing that I wasn't studying. So this is not studying.
But studying is just not done right.
Studying's just not done right, and it's not
Or I should say,
productive.
you can study however you want. You won't learn very much from doing that.
Right. So then the next thing that I learned on how to study is, what's the basic shapes now? Okay, I see this bow here. It's kind of a triangle, but there's a wobble here. And now it's being tied with the centerpiece.
I want to hold you for 1 second.
Okay, go ahead.
When you're doing a study, what are you studying? So Christina, what she just jumped into was she's studying the shapes of it. But what if she wanted to study the forms of it? What if she wanted to study what folds am I seeing? How is this ribbon tied? How is it put on her hair? So for example, this is kind of a cylinder. You also get this. So this is like a big piece. It's being squeezed into this, and you're getting a little half lock fold right here, right? This is a cylinder right there. So even if this drawing turns out terrible, I'm learning, because now that's going into my brain. And if I draw it from imagination later, I'll know what was happening, right? This comes out, this comes up. There's another little half lock fold happening right here, right? There's another half lock fold happening on the other side. This is being compressed into this area. These are like rectangular pieces of fabric, but because it's at an angle, it ends up ending in a point at the bottom.
Yeah, so you basically have to be very aware of what you are studying. Like for me...
Yeah, so it doesn't matter how your study turns out. What are you learning from it?
Yeah.
What are you learning? A half lock fold is one of the 7 basic folds, Cherry. We have a recent TikTok that we put up on the seven basic folds.
Yeah. So I would say change the way you think. Now, that's really hard to do. I had to learn how to study. But
And Jamie, like... I'm not trying to make a good drawing at all. I'm trying to understand what's happening, because since I know the principles of design, I could make it look good later if I wanted. Like, where is that clothing study I did last night?
It's on your computer.
I'll send it to you.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Half lock fold is, it's a basic fold. So basically, there's like compression at a point, and then the fold comes out, and that's like a half lock fold. So, yeah. That's a very short way to describe it. But essentially, that's kind of what I do with studying. That's the same way how I used to do portraits, where I just didn't know what I was doing. So anyway, so this is Colton's clothing study right here. What? So right here, this green one.
Yeah, so I did that one last night. And you could see, look, another half lock fold right here.
they look very similar. So like you'll notice that when you draw clothes, you'll kind of end up memorizing different types of folds.
And then here's a much simpler, different study. So what I'm doing is I'm going, where are the folds originating from? What shapes am I seeing? Why? Why are they there? Where are they appearing? So if I'm looking at this, it's a pretty stiff material. I've drawn in the seam line right here. And so later on, if I want to draw an outfit from imagination, now I'm like, oh, I know that when someone bends their arm, there's usually some sort of a half lock fold. So if someone bends their arm, I'll usually see a half lock fold, and then this will squish out and that will squish out. So that's how you draw from imagination.
Yeah, and Rin asked, is it like good to look at the fold and just think how it's going and what's behind it?
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
And do a bunch of drawing studies.
Like I've drawn hair so many times that I know how to draw hair.
Who gave the flower clip to her? I want to make a comic. Who, huh?
Oh, this? We assumed that it was Miko, but we don't know.
Oh, yes. People are going to start shipping
Our
June
OCs.
and Miko.
Yeah. There we go.
Do you have any tips for studying if you have bad memory? You're just going to have to do it a lot.
Fight your demons. Essentially, like, know your weakness and set a system to battle it. Colton has ADHD and a bit of OCD, I think, back then, but now I don't think he has those problems anymore. But basically, he made it so that he had to understand where his weaknesses are and actually have to, like, push himself more because he has those setbacks. Now, I don't think ADHD is a setback or anything, but I know that for some people, it kind of bothers with their life. And I know that Colton has had it. But if you struggle with that, try to find what works best for you and modify your plan so that you won't, you don't fail. I shouldn't say fail, but basically you have a higher chance of getting the extra practice. Learning how to work with your brain. Exactly, not against it. How do you fight perfectionism? I fought with a lot of perfectionism, and I still do, but...
Quantity over... Sorry.
Yeah,
quantity over quality.
Quantity over quality. So basically, this drawing right here, and this is a bad example, and I shouldn't say it's a bad example, but basically, this to me can be thrown away. It doesn't matter if it turns out good or bad. Now, I have the skill to make it look good, but I'm not attached to it enough to really be like, oh, I'm so, how did I, it's a mental shift. So like I can draw whatever, I can draw this and it's not perfect and I can still choose to be okay with it because I have to like detach myself in a way.
This is on one layer.
This is on one layer, yeah.
I feel like, heck.
Oh, it's you gotta flip it.
What?
What do you mean? What are you trying to do?
I'm trying to find the liquefy tool.
It's up there.
This?
Yeah, liquefy.
Okay. Is it big?
It's not on this layer, right? Are you on that
size? I just feel like...
So what I struggled with back then was I would go through long periods of time where I would draw and work really hard. And then I would just like look at the drawing again and be like, man, I made so many mistakes. And I would only focus on the negative. I would focus on the negative and then I would beat myself up and say, man, why am I so bad? Like, I wish I could be like so-and-so person, or man, this isn't as good as I want to be. Like, I'm so dumb. But like, is that really helpful for you? Just think like, does this make me enjoy drawing to be like this? And
yeah, you don't want to ruin your favorite hobby by allowing some toxic like mentality to form.
Yeah. And mentalities like this have to change through a lot of introspection. So like this took me a long time to battle. I don't know what your journey will be, but essentially look deeper. Look at why you feel self-conscious about it or why you feel perfectionist over it. It may be like other hidden things, like looking too much into the future or like not being in the present enough or like having too many high expectations on yourself that are toxic, that aren't like realistic for yourself. And when you find those root problems, then it might help you with your perfectionism.
Yeah, so we took a class by a guy, Will Weston. He teaches workshops for Disney artists. He's a figure drawing teacher. He did a lot of the background art for the first 2 seasons of Avatar: The Last Airbender. Really, really good teacher. One of the best teachers I've ever had. And he always has this advice. He says, it's the quantity, not the quality, that will make you good at art.
Yeah.
The more you do, right, like 25-minute figures will make you better than one, what is it?
1 hour figure.
1 hour and 20-minute figure.
That you work really hard on.
Yes.
That's not to say that hard work isn't...
That doesn't mean you never spend an hour and a half on a figure, but you will get much better by doing quantity over quality, right? Otherwise, art schools would just have you work on a single painting all 4 years.
Yeah.
If it was quality over quantity, art schools would never have you do a bunch. They would just have you do one painting and then you graduate.
Yeah, and that's not necessarily very helpful because you don't get the muscle memory, you don't get the practice. But also understand that art and practicing art starts becoming more of like, let me think, not like a personal thing, but more of a practical thing. Not to say that you have to like completely detach and not feel anything about your art, but like see it as this is like learning an instrument. This is, I'm practicing a skill rather than I'm pouring my heart into this. Now you can definitely pour your heart into it and practice. I'm just saying like, if you want to battle the perfectionism, if you want to see and not feel so emotionally invested into it, you got to change the way you see your art, because it's totally fine to be more emotionally connected to it. And that's how a lot of artists are, and it's totally fine.
Just be aware if it's harming you.
Yeah, exactly. Just be aware if this is not where you want to be, then consider that, you know.
Therapy also helps how I feel about artwork. Absolutely.
Definitely. Some people actually use art as therapy as well.
If you start working professionally, you have to do so much art, and it's so businessy. Like, when I did concept art, I would turn in a piece. I would work really, really hard at it, and I'd hate it. And the client would be like, looks great, thanks. And then they'd respond a day later and be like, hey, can you move this person over to this side of the room and change the shape of this from a square to a triangle? It's like, it's not like, oh my gosh, your artwork looks horrible, this is gross, or oh, I don't like this. It's very professional.
It's very
and
practical.
Years of dealing with that, I just started thinking about my art less emotionally. And so when an artwork doesn't turn out as well, I don't get like upset and want to go crawl into a hole
and never draw again.
I used to be like that. Okay, couple questions. Rin had asked how to draw a shirt with a drawing on it and there's a fold there. So this gets into like costume design, because guess what? People who direct movies have to deal with the same thing when their actors wear shirts with pictures on them. So I would say in Dragon Ball, Bulma used to wear shirts with big graphics on them. And I would study how the creator of Dragon Ball drew those shirts. So usually you're either going to have, so it's about visual texture. Folds create visual texture, and graphics also create visual texture. But if you do both, it can end up getting a little bit too intense. So you usually have to choose one or the other.
Yeah, simple or complex.
That's a design principle. Look at costume designers and fashion illustrators. They deal with that all the time.
Yeah.
Christina and I took a costume design class, and the teacher talked about that pretty extensively. Tips for art studies. There's a lot of different kinds of art studies, Anna. What type of studies? Tips for social media. Oh my gosh.
Oh, Colton can go to a whole spiel about that.
I think social media for artists is one of the most toxic things, because artists have a void inside of themselves that they're trying to fill. They want other people to like their art. But social media is not designed to fill that void. It is designed to give you dopamine.
You're looking at the wrong place.
Artists look for validation on social media, but social media is not designed for giving people validation. I would recommend, if you want validation in your art, join an art community. That's really nice. If you're looking
for
encouragement, join an art community. But specifically, if you want to know how to grow your social media, you have to start creating stuff for the audience rather than yourself. Not saying you can't enjoy it, But remember, people open their phones to get dopamine and to learn stuff. So if you start giving people dopamine and teaching them things, you'll get followers. That's how we grew 100,000 followers in 6 months. But if you're trying to get validation from social media, you're probably going to burn out as an artist. It's really, really, really toxic.
And not only that, but a lot of people are not looking for your benefit. They're looking for their benefit.
Yeah.
You know, that's just like, you know, that's just kind of how it is.
Do you have any tips to help draw bodies in any position? Yes.
Dimensional drawing.
Dimensional drawing, foundation, anatomy, proportion.
Yeah. So
Break the body down into simple forms.
I like this drawing. What I really recommend if you're going to draw bodies is understand proportion first. Right? I'm not going to go through the whole like proportion system or anything like that. But
I was just about to help you move the line down, and then you undid and put it in the same spot again.
I know.
And then I was about to help you again, and you undid again.
Yeah, I know.
It's just kind of funny. I think you tend to put halfway marks too high because you're looking at the iPad from such a shallow angle.
I know, I do.
It's really odd.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So essentially, I would understand, you know, the proportional method. Now, I can't do this really, like, I can't explain this right now, super in depth right now. But essentially, find a method that allows you to draw the body in a very simple way and have the correct proportions. So what I just did here was I use tick marks. I use halfway measurements. I divide this line into fourths and into eighths. Right?
Notice how Christina's character is really tall?
Yeah.
It's because she's looking at her iPad from an angle, so she's accidentally making the halfways too high.
Yeah, so...
Because the phone's directly above the iPad. She has to look at it from, like, an angle.
Yeah. It looks correct in my...
art community scares me. It's the reason why I haven't posted my art yet. Honestly, I don't think I'll ever post my art on TikTok.
It's just not the place where I want to post it. So once you have the proportional, you know, stuff figured out and you know how to draw and measure the body relatively pretty easily, then move on to basic forms, you know, boxes, cylinders, combining boxes and cylinders. So like, for instance, the rib cage and the pelvis are 2 boxes. You have a little squishy middle here. The rib cage can be simplified to like a sphere of some sort, but you can just focus on boxes for now. Right, but I'm still thinking of this while I'm doing this. So this takes a bit of multitasking here. Simplify the arms into cylinders. So this is basically what dimensional drawing is. You're simplifying everything into its most basic forms, and you are understanding how to move or draw these in different angles. So if I were to draw the same pose but from the back, I would have to reverse engineer. So I'll be like, okay, if I'm turning this to the back, this is what the back is going to look like. Here's the box facing this way now. Here's the pelvis going up instead. This arm comes in here. And so you kind of have to think of this in 3-dimensional. You have to like think of this and think of it as a 3D model and turn it in your head. And that's very hard to do. So I'm going through this very fast, unfortunately.
Yeah. Anna, the anatomy of hair are ribbons. So this is a demo I did yesterday, but hair is ribbons, and ribbons is a cylinder, like compound cylinders. So learn how to render a cylinder, like a metallic cylinder. And then this I posted in the Discord server, by the way. So, and then ribbons have the same components of a cylinder. And if you have a curve, then you actually have 2 core shadows. And when you blend all this together, it looks like that. And that is how you render hair. So these could just as well be
hair strands.
You just add little flips and stuff.
And you'll actually notice that this little demo here is basically the same concept.
So if you want, all right, Big Toe, have a good one. So if you join our Discord server, I posted that in the live demos chat. It's the little butterfly one. Link is in our bio for the Discord server. See ya, Big Toe. Yeah, hair is ribbons.
Yeah, I think that's better to lighten up the darkness here.
The darkness.
The dark. You'll notice that I actually added a bit of gray.
Oh, people were asking about your trees in Animal Crossing. No, they're by my Wolfgang's house.
That's so funny.
I'm keeping them hostage.
Bye, Siri. So what's funny about Colton is he went to my village and started going ham and started picking up my trees, and I just booted him off.
Yeah, she banned me from our island because I stole her trees. Is your Discord free? Yes.
Yes.
There's a link in it in our bio.
What's stuck on my shirt? There. So notice that I added this like kind of cool gray area. This is to give a little bit of distance, a bit of like kind of ambient, atmospheric fog.
Oh yeah, Christina drew this last night.
Yeah, I did.
It's cute. It's Miki.
I like it.
So you can see that Christina can vary her style based on whatever she feels like doing.
Yeah. Essentially, I kind of did what I did last night, but in a more like not super crazy crazy color stuff. But yeah. And I've kind of been in the mood for rendering because I my confidence boosted when I did this, and I'm like, does this mean I can start doing this more often? And then I just started doing these more often. But yeah. I also really like adding some lights in the edges of the hair, especially on the back, because it creates distance. Like you'll see that this hair strand is now behind this hair strand, and the light shadows kind of push it back into the distance. So that's what I like doing sometimes for hair.
It's a volumetric perspective.
Volumetric perspective, yeah.
That's what it's called. It's basically fog.
And then if I want to push out some things in the hair, I kind of just like chisel things out, and I'm like, okay, well maybe I want some negative space back here, which meaning like I want the background to pop into this little neck area. So I'm just thinking graphic design at this point now, with hair. So yeah.
Yep. Also, we had a new student sign up for our anime art school when we woke up today.
That's awesome.
If you're here, awesome. Can't wait for you to start. What time is it?
I don't know what time it is. My phone's over there.
3:30.
3:30?
So it's been about 2 hours.
Oh, wow.
Maybe we'll wrap it up soon.
Yeah, actually, I wonder if Rin is still here, because I know that she was having a bit of trouble with a sitting pose, and I could kind of like do a very quick sitting pose that she was doing earlier in the Discord channel. I don't really do paint over critiques very often, so just letting you know, I kind of just do them if I feel like it. So
thank you for the follow, Bread.
I'm gonna merge all this.
Bye, Anna.
Bye, Anna. Can you check if Rin's still
Rin is
here? Okay. Let me just go back and flip canvas. Where's flip canvas? I keep forgetting.
Canvas.
Oh yeah.
Flip horizontal.
Or flip horizontal. Great. So I'd make this just a
Is
tiny
it good to
bit
balance college art school and your school at the same time?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Our school is completely self-paced, so you can take it at whatever speed you want. You can take it as supplementary classes if you want. It's basically also a reference library. If you want to relearn anything or if you forget anything, you can always go back and see it. But it is a complete school as well, so if you want to treat it like a school, you can. It's got homework assignments. It has a syllabus that you can download for each class. It has lectures. I think the school's at this point, like, I don't know. It's almost like 100 hours of content.
So if you don't mind me, Rin, to show your pose, just so it's easier for me to see. It's a cute drawing. So it's honestly a really good attempt at sitting. I can see that you're trying to like show the perspective of the legs and all that stuff. And it's a hard pose, by the way. It's really hard.
Front sitting pose is really hard like that.
Front sitting pose is really hard like that. So just understand that it's completely normal for you to struggle on this. You're not going crazy. You're not bad. So what I would do is I would take the reference, and what I'm noticing is a bit of proportional issues, but which is totally fine. So I'm going to show this here.
Actually, I think one thing that you did really well
Yes.
is, so in a side view, the rib cage is like this generally,
Yes.
and the pelvis is like this, and then the legs are coming out and down like that.
And you did that rib cage area
And the
really
head.
well here.
So the fact that this comes down like that, and this curve right here is going up, that actually shows that really well. So you did a really good job there.
You did. Now, my suggestion is to push it up a bit more. So I'm going to move this to the side. Yay. So what I recommend is you kind of put a little bit too low, which is totally fine. I think it's hard to balance that. So I would actually use cylinders or boxes if you want, and push the clavicle up a little bit higher. So you'll notice that the clavicle is actually more straight. You won't see the underside of the trapeze is very much in this angle, especially
Underside?
not sorry, let me think.
Underside of the trapezius.
Like, sorry, the inner clavicle part here. You won't really see that in this pose because her rib cage is poking out.
So how the anatomy of it works is you've got your clavicle, right? Your collarbones. You have your trapezius, which is the muscle on your back, and there's this area right here, right where your sternocleidomastoid comes down. And what she's talking about is this little triangular patch, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, you're right. So this you wouldn't actually not really see it. You would instead just see the clavicle kind of coming up, and you'll kind of see it, but it's like very hidden. So basically your neck is showing, the clavicle is showing, and then you'll automatically see the arm coming up. But I'm not going to draw the arm because we're doing sitting pose. We were doing a sitting pose.
Yep, Moldy Jeff.
So now
my tummy's rumbling.
Oh no, I'm so
gonna have
sorry.
some major.
So you got the rib cage pretty correct right there. So I'm going to actually shorten the rib cage a little bit because we're actually seeing the bottom side. And here we see the abdominal area. So this is the part where it gets a bit tricky because we're going to have to see a bit of foreshortening. Now,
really pulled off that shape well.
You did. You really did.
That nice,
this part.
The nice waist right here really pulled that off. I like it.
Yeah, really, really good. So okay. I know this is a front view, but I'm kind of turning it.
I would say right now it looks a little bit like your figure is kind of sitting like this.
Yeah, it looks like the legs are resting down instead of up.
Like that.
If that's what you're going for.
But it doesn't feel necessarily like they're supposed to. It almost feels like the seat is supposed to be like right here.
Yeah. So 12 asks, what is the difference between art share 1, 2, and 3?
A lot of people post art, so you can post in any of the channels. So a lot of people I've noticed tend to feel bad when they post a piece they worked a really long time on, and then 100 other people post their artworks and your artwork gets pushed way up. So if you can post in a channel that's less busy and more people will see your art. So that's my solution to that problem, because Discord is like a scroll chat, right?
Yeah.
And I like being able to see everybody's nice art without having to scroll for an hour.
So this is technically correct. We just got to raise it up a bit if you wanted that vibe. So you're going to have to basically essentially foreshorten. So that means the leg is going to go towards us. So we'll see the bottom of the cylinders. Now I'm turning this at a bit of an angle here, so hopefully it still works for your drawing. And you'll see the bottom of the glutes sitting down. And then you'll see the kneecaps going forward and down. Now, this is where you can kind of do a little bit of designing. Like you can like shift the legs to the side, which I feel like is cute. V said, I need people clipping parts of the stream because that was the best thing I've heard all day.
What?
My tummy's rumbling.
Oh.
Yeah, Colton says unhinged things sometimes.
If you watch through the live stream from a couple days ago, V, and you find the part where the
soda explodes,
can you timestamp it and send it to us? Because I don't feel like watching through 4 hours to figure out when our fridge exploded.
Yeah. So
it was loud.
Yeah. So you'll notice it. Now, I can't really cover foreshortening that much right now.
Yeah.
But essentially, this is really, really shortened. And then you'll see this front part of the leg being really elongated.
I think that was the stream on the 13th. Was that the one where you drew June?
I believe so, yeah.
I really got to say that. Rin, you pulled off that waist torso area really well.
Yes,
and the
pants
pants look good too.
The pants do look really good. I like how you did the folds there. Someone said, are these lives recorded? Yes, they are.
Yes, we have a VOD channel. I posted it in announcements in our Discord server.
So this is kind of like...
Yes, the stream is uploaded.
I would say if you're going to do... Now, I turned this because it's easier to see the legs being foreshortened. But hopefully this was helpful, Rin. If you want, you can do what I did. Just copy it. I don't care what you do. But hopefully that was helpful. So V asked if that stream was uploaded yet.
Yeah.
Okay, it's uploaded.
Bet I'm gonna find that. I think it was in like the first third of the stream, but I don't remember. I was cleaning it up for like a long time.
Yeah, I really like this drawing.
Sticky soda all over our carpet.
You did such a good job cleaning it up. It didn't really feel like there was
How
any,
to make it more in front view.
More in front view?
Front view would be really hard. Like, showing a body in front view is very difficult.
Because you have to do a lot of overlaps. Hold on, you got to change the brush color.
Oh. I would just say, if you want to make this more in front view, what if I just add a new layer?
Add a new layer.
Draw in white. And, like, draw over this.
Yeah, and then just turn it into a front view.
And then draw in black and turn it into.
You want to sit down so it's easier for you to draw?
Nah, because I might fail horribly.
Oh.
So front view, again, you're going to show.
You're going to lift the kneecaps higher.
Yeah, this distance right here is going to be a lot shorter because remember, this is a cylinder. So here's a cylinder. And as it turns towards you, it's going to end up looking like this. And as it comes even more towards us,
it's going to look even more short.
It's going to be even more foreshortened like this.
And foreshortening.
And remember, legs are not perfect cylinders. They kind of look like the cross section kind of looks like this towards the thigh. And then towards the knee, they're a bit smaller. So it'll be like that. Because you got your sartorius coming here and your kneecap comes there. So the foreshortened...
Bye, Ellie.
...would look like that. The kneecap's coming down here. And then, of course, you're going to have the... I'm bad at this. It's going to be more like that sort of thing.
Yeah.
There. You can draw it better if you want.
Oh. I think what you did was good. I think I'm gonna go a little bit more closer to what V.
That's great,
not V. I have V on my head right now, so that's why I said V. So
their legs are coming together.
Their legs are coming together. So you're gonna have to what you did here was correct. Keep that, but just change the foreshortening of the legs. Thank you. So basically, it would come close together like this. This is the kneecap. Now, I personally would not put these legs straight together. This is just my preference, but
they come out.
I would have one come out. I would have one straight, leaning towards one side, and then one coming out, and then they would meet at a point together.
That just has to do with good pose design. That way you can overlap the feet and create depth. You can create a curve right here and a curve lower on this side, so you have a diagonal. The way that you have it right now, the calf muscles on both sides
are very
even, and that creates a less dynamic pose.
Yeah, but I think you pulled off the pose really well for, being confused and stuff. So you did a really good job.
Tips on drawing kneecaps. Kneecaps are hard.
Kneecaps are hard. In a blocky form, it kind of looks like this. It's like a gemstone or a coffin, like a very tiny coffin.
That would have to do with primitive forms.
Yeah.
So lighting primitive forms like spheres and cylinders.
Some people, when they draw kneecaps, kneecaps are different for different styles. The most common I see for anime is you kind of have a little bit of an uneven shape like this. I can't really describe it, unfortunately. But essentially, you would just show the sides, have it uneven, don't do it like this, but rather change.
Yeah. What was Will Weston's kneecap demo? Some people do them like double,
double like that. That's just show the tendon.
They have a little thing right there.
Yeah.
When do you guys go live? Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 1:30 p.m. Pacific time, so California time.
Yeah.
And then on weekends, usually between 1 and 2 on Saturdays. Same time zone.
But essentially, the kneecap also looks like this from the front, if the leg is bent. Kind of has this bulged feeling on the sides. Kneecaps are hard. Just I don't know. I don't know if I would describe it that well.
Is there a critique channel in the server? There should be.
There is.
I think there is.
Yeah, there is.
So back to Tira.
I think she's pretty much done for this stream.
I think the eyes should be more vibrant.
Yes, I agree.
Miki, last night Miki treatment.
Sure, we'll do that. What colors do you think we should use? Like a teal or Ooh. Well, it actually looks pretty good. I like teal. So like you'll see that what I'm doing for this eye is a very warm blue. I'm going to go for more of a teal and a more saturated color.
Rin says,
kinda
what is
pop it
VOD?
out.
VOD stands for Video on Demand. It refers to a live stream that has been recorded as a video that you can watch anytime.
There we go. Should we add a bit of yellow? Nah, I don't know.
It's almost like a Miko type thing.
That is a Miko type thing. Tira's eyes are more like grayish blue, more like...
Rin, in the announcements channel in our Discord server, I posted our VODs channel. But I'm probably going to get our channels up on our link in bio sometime soon. I just made it yesterday.
You know, I really like orange and blue, orange in like blue eyes. I think that really like makes it look pretty.
All right, 12. I would just say take every critique that people give you with a grain of salt, because it's a very difficult decision to create a critique channel because most beginners are not very good at giving critiques. So
and they also don't really know what
it's really a hit or a miss.
Yeah.
But feel free to post it.
Yes. Just know that I don't do critiques very often because there's just so many. I kind of just choose what I want to critique. So just letting you know that I'm...
Can I know what made the orange in her eyes? Christina's just adding it because it contrasts with the blue and kind of pops a little bit.
Yeah.
It's not from anything particularly. You could make an argument that there's maybe an orange object that's being reflected.
Yeah, you could.
In what order would it be best to draw in if you were to do a full body drawing? Start with proportion.
Yeah.
Start with proportion and gesture, and then fill in the simple volumes. And then probably draw the clothes over top, and then focus a little bit on your lighting, and then go into detail.
What I notice is that the scapula actually comes out pretty far for some things. But I don't think I'll draw the scapula now.
Thank you, Autumn, for the heart puff.
Thank you. I did not do the ribbon very well.
I hope you have all enjoyed the stream so far.
Yeah. We're probably going to wrap up kind of soon.
Let's see. If you're new, we have a Discord server. And it's in the link in bio.
And if you want to be...
I'm so bad at rendering, I just cell shade. Do you render on top of the shading and lighting layer? For this particular drawing, I think Christina's just drawing it all in one layer.
Yeah. Just because I feel like it, you know?
Your layers don't matter if you know how to render. So I would recommend, if you're struggling with rendering, focus on learning the basics of rendering. And then you'll be able to do it with any layer structure.
Yes. Layers is more of a tool. It's not a mandatory process. Layers just help you organize. So, yeah.
Rin just learned the anatomy of shoulders. So the shoulders are basically created by the clavicle and scapula coming together, and then there's a couple muscles attached to them from the front, side, and back. So learn about those.
Twist.
It's not just shoulder muscles, because there's a lot of bones.
Yeah, and a lot of bones connecting.
Move.
You want to show?
Well, I was just going to say, the easiest way to break down shoulders is you have to remember from a top, a human body kind of looks like this. The arm is here, the arm is here, the head is here. And this is the clavicle, which is your neck bone, or you're not your neck bone, what's his, I can't think of the word for some reason. Your clavicle, right? Clavicle. The bone that you can feel. And then right here is your scapula, which is your shoulder blades, clavicle. And then they basically connect to each other. And then right here is where your humerus is at, which is your upper arm bone. And from like a front view or like a 3/4 view, you got to remember that. So here's your clavicle, here's your shoulder blade, right? Here's your head. This goes up, so this can move in an upward motion like this. So when you raise your arm, your entire shoulder moves up because these are bones that move. And then, of course, your pectoralis will move and come up like that. Your trapezius will squish like that. So studying those landmarks is really important, because that's why so many people get raised arms wrong, because they just don't really fundamentally understand how they work. I'm going to erase all that if you want.
Oh, sure. I'll just erase the edge. This right there.
Sure.
Because I like the drawing, and it's helpful, so.
Should I draw like the bone and muscles for learning? I would advise
I would advise that,
There's a really cool book. I'll grab it really quick.
Do it.
So this is not a how to draw book. It's an anatomy book, like for bodybuilders. It's called, but it's all illustrated by an artist. Strength Training Anatomy. So this book has really detailed drawings of muscles, where they are, how they connect on both male and female, and they show the different exercises that you do and what exercises exercise which muscles. So I'm sure there's quite a lot of, here's like an upward arm, right? And it shows what muscles are where. And in certain areas in the book, see, like here's that scapula, the humerus, the acromion, all that, even a bunch of stuff that I don't know.
Thank you, Jamie.
So this is a really, really good book for reference and for looking at how things work. Remember, everybody in this book is going to be very muscular because it's a book for bodybuilders. So here's the muscles of the back.
But it's easy to see the muscles that way.
See? There's your trapezius, deltoid.
Yeah. And when it comes to bodybuilders, their muscles are a lot more bulged out because they work them out. So just know that sometimes not all muscles are going to be round and like bowling balls.
Not really, Rin. We don't know. We only know like the visual volumes of muscles. Doctors know more muscles, especially if they're like a muscle specialist.
Or surgeon.
So that's the book. It's really good if you want reference. Oh, here's that
Scapula.
Here's that scapula clavicle that I was talking about. See, here's the clavicle and here's the scapula.
Oh, and here's the
and
thing
it
here.
creates this kind of diamond shape right there. And then here's how it connects. So this book has a lot of really, really good resources on that. But again, it's not an art book. It's a bodybuilding book. So it's not going to teach you how to draw. It's just going to teach you the muscles.
I think another thing about learning anatomy is also understanding what shapes the muscles make and what shapes the bones make in comparison to the rest of the body. Like, you'll notice that for like the scapula right here, or this back thing that I just drew here, it's not a straight line like this, but rather the scapula comes out and creates this shape.
Yep.
And it looks more dynamic that way.
And the neck leans forward as well. Like the neck is like a leaned forward shape in there.
Yeah. So being also aware of that will definitely help. But it takes a lot of practice. You're not going to learn anatomy overnight. This took me years. Takes years and a lot of practice. So don't beat yourself up if you don't get it the first time. You know, it's hard. It's really hard. You're basically trying to draw what people see every day, and that's really hard to do because people will know if it looks wrong or not. Mm-hmm. And that's very tough. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. If you want to learn a lot of this stuff, by the way, grab Anime Art School. We teach all of it in way more depth than we go on to stream.
Yeah, we do.
Because we have hours and hours and hours of like undivided attention focusing on certain subjects.
Yeah, I teach you how to draw like arms and torsos in multiple directions. Like I'll show you how, so in one of the lessons for arms, I show you how to draw a side view, a front view, and a back view. Let me make sure it's on the right layer. Okay, yeah. Let me draw here. So like basically the way how I teach is I have references for you to look at while I draw, and you can draw along with me. And essentially, I'm like, okay, I break down the arms from start to finish, proportions, building. This is in the school.
Yeah.
Building, forms on top, and then adding muscles. And then after you know that, then I basically draw 3 versions of arms from the front, the side, and the back, you know? So that's how much in-depth I do things.
So Fishjacks, if you want to see the actual page, it's drawanimeacademy.com. It's just our username plus .com. You can see all the details on it and everything. You can download the syllabus. You can see exactly what you're going to learn every single week. There's little image previews, descriptions, and everything.
Yeah.
So go check it out. There's also a link in our bio if you're interested in that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. It's $500 for everything.
For everything. And you get
for
it
all the
life.
classes, yeah.
In fact, just on the landing page, you could probably learn a lot. Like, a lot for free. Just by studying the landing page. Because we put little images of a lot of this stuff. You can check out the PDF downloads of all the different syllabus for the classes, and you'll see exactly what your homework is. You'll see exactly what we cover during each lesson. It's really well laid out, like a college, like better than colleges a lot of the time.
If you think our streams are in depth, you should consider the stream.
Like if we're doing streams that are this good for free, imagine how good our paid content is. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, and I mean,
we're always gonna do these streams for free.
Oh yeah.
And since it's summer right now, we're really going heavy on streams.
Mm-hmm. We're going to make your summer vacation not boring.
It's all good, Ren. We want good art education to be accessible to everyone, even for free.
And we'll also like be posting or uploading cheaper courses as well.
That is very dangerous, V. Kat has decided her favorite toy is now my Apple Pencil.
You got to get what was it? What's it? Insurance.
You need Apple Pencil insurance. You'll be out $100 just like that.
Smack it. Smack the cat.
Cats are demons with cables.
I know. My cat used to like chew the cables if I'm not watching him, and so he never has bedroom privileges.
Jamie, you mean today or like since we started weeks ago? I think we started streaming like the beginning of July.
Yeah, I think so. Like July.
Yep.
We didn't. I mean, we're still kind of
pretty new.
We're still pretty new.
We've only done like a dozen streams or more.
Yeah.
We haven't been streaming for years.
My dog chewed up my pencil, and I had to get a new one. Rip.
How to get addicted to art. Make art friends. Join a community. Do challenges. Draw other people's OCs. Hang out. Have fun. Right? Look at your progress over the years.
What got me really addicted to art was joining an art community because I liked the validation it gave me.
Yeah,
you know?
Validation.
Like the
join
support.
Events. Don't try not to do art in an isolated bubble.
Yeah. I mean,
Also,
I don't think it's.
I've been thinking about doing a art book stream. I won't be able to show all of them because a lot of them have naked people in them, but I'll have to do an art book stream. I have multiple shelves full of art books.
I would love to show that. Maybe that should be.
What are some examples of art communities? Our Discord server is one. We
Yeah.
try to create a really friendly, happy, encouraging Discord.
We basically are trying to make it like an old art Armino back in the old days.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Christina
for us.
and I met on an art community.
Yeah, we did. I don't like that. Too dark. There we go. Yeah, art communities is just what makes art really fun because a lot of people like seeing new artists. A lot of people find their people there. And it's fun to post art and get likes and also like get feedback and improve, especially if you're looking in the right channels. Once again, social media, like if you're looking for that in social media, it's not going to really benefit you that much because social media is more selfish in nature. So that's
Amino love story is insane. Happy for you guys. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's funny. Well, we just met on Art Amino.
Yeah.
Like a long time ago, and we knew each other for years and years. It wasn't until we didn't get together until Christina actually moved out to California to go to college. And then our marriage was expedited because
COVID.
yeah, COVID. We had to flee California. We didn't have to, but we left California, moved to my parents' house, and then after 4 months, they kicked us out. So we were just like, all right, let's just get married.
That sounds mean. Your mom didn't want to kick us out.
Well, I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, I know. Well, essentially, we had to move because we ain't gonna stay there forever. But yeah, so we were like, let's just get married. I don't know if I should have that. No, I will not have that there. I think it's better without that strand. I'm just noodling at this point now.
I met a lot of my good friends on Art Amino.
Yeah.
I have a good friend that I met on Art Amino way back in the day. He was, we were like, let's become concept artists together. And he ended up working for Sony as a concept artist for a really long time.
That's better.
Did I ever interview him on ArtQuest? I don't think I did.
I don't think you ever mentioned ArtQuest before.
I used to run a podcast a long time ago where I interviewed a bunch of different really high-level artists.
Hi, Sarah.
It was called ArtQuest. That's all I'll tell you. If you want to try and find it, you can. It's not hidden.
It's fun though. It was fun.
What is BSF?
BSF?
Telling my BSF we should just get married, but their boyfriend won't let us.
Best something. I don't know. I don't know what that means. I'm just trying to guess. There's probably best and friend.
Fandom good for artists who seek community, or is it toxic? Twitter, for example. I can't answer that. I've never been. Oh, well, I married my best friend.
Okay.
I can't speak on that. I've never joined it. I've never seen it. I can tell you right now, there's a lot of toxic art communities out there. I don't think the people who run the art communities are committed enough to keeping communities friendly. So I think a lot of the time elitism seeps into communities and people start looking down on others, and it becomes like a little club that doesn't like newcomers. And I'm absolutely going to make the biggest effort to keep that from happening in our community because I want to enjoy what I do for a living.
Yeah. And I want the honeymoon phase of our server to be there forever. Cuz it's fun. I like when people are active on Discord and just chatting together and joining voice calls and stuff. And I don't want that to go away.
This is cute.
It's like looking at little this sounds horrible, but I was gonna say it looks like a little terrarium with little animals in it.
Little Animal Crossing characters.
I'm sorry.
I think it's so cute when you see people in voice chat talking and streaming, and people are typing in all caps to each other, and it's just funny. It's fun running a community. It's very rewarding. People getting along. Little ant farm,
Yeah, little ant farm. Every art Discord I join, everyone is professional. No one is at my level. I wouldn't agree with that, Matt. I think everybody has different levels. Like there's definitely, beginner, more advanced artists and stuff. There's just various artists of every level.
I think they're saying that the servers they join.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I have no idea, Matt.
I don't join any Discord servers. I'm in like 5 Discord servers.
I misinterpreted you. I'm sorry.
And most of them are mine. We have a couple really popular Discord servers.
We do?
Yeah.
Like what?
Our student one has 1,700 people in it.
Oh,
and then our TikTok one now has like 5, almost 600 people.
Yeah, we had a big influx of people coming in, I think, last stream.
Nowadays, there's more resources, but also more hate and elitism. Yeah, it honestly might be that there's the same level of elitism. It's just easier to see it now because of the internet making everything so much closer. But yeah, I can't stand it.
I don't like it.
It happens in every school that I went to. The upper terms would always look down on the lower terms, even though the stupid thing is lower term students were often better at drawing than the higher term students. And they would still look down on them. It doesn't make any sense. And then like people with backgrounds in other industries that they were very proficient at would join the school. They'd be horrible at drawing, but they'd be really experienced in like music production. And it's like, it's so weird. I think the elitism thing is so weird.
It's like they would just like to be the biggest fish in the tiny bubble. Someone, Autumn said found Art Quest.
Oh, yeah. That was fun. That was when I was living in California. I ran it with my friend Burin. He was an animator in Japan for 5 years, and I went to school with him after he was done with that. He's a Mongolian friend of mine. Really nice dude. We ran ArtQuest, which was an interview channel. I interviewed some of like the top artists at Riot. I interviewed some of my friends. That was good. That was my first YouTube channel. What is ArtQuest? It's a YouTube channel I used to run that I don't really talk about very much.
It's not bad. It's lore.
I don't like the interviews very much because I was trying to juggle way too much. So I didn't give the person I was interviewing enough of my attention because I was juggling chat and multitasking, and I shouldn't have been.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you were learning and stuff, and I mean, you kind of like.
But it was good. Like, there's good content on there.
I mean, I cannot juggle chat and draw at the same time either. So
It's very difficult.
so you help me a lot with managing or just reading chat, and I can answer. So I can understand how hard it was for you to pay attention to the interview as well.
Are you still doing it? No. We did, I don't know, 10, 11 interviews.
I want to add a hair clip.
We also did like critique streams where we would take people's work in the Discord that submitted their work and help critique it.
I'm just kind of seeing if this Pearl clip would work well.
I would be open to starting another channel and doing some interviews and stuff. That was really fun. I got the setup for it. My parents and grandparents visit our apartment here, and they say that, what do they say my computer setup looks like? Like a TV broadcast station or something?
Yeah, something like that. I want gold.
I've got a green screen, 2 big monitors, a Cintiq, a big giant computer, a camera on a tripod, light panels. Home studio. Home
Ooh,
office.
fancy. I gave
Ooh,
her
that's cute.
cute pearls. I like I
I was even thinking, let's just see.
do it.
What if she had like a delicate little like butterfly like thing with like intricate design or something on it?
Ooh.
You know? Or like a little heart or something.
Yeah, I think I can add.
Not necessarily
try.
right there.
Yeah.
We might want to keep it simple. This is like design. No right, no wrong.
I'm just kind of thinking how I would add it. But I like the pearls at the same time, so I don't know what I'm going to do.
That's cute.
That's kind of cute. Let me think. Maybe I could add another hairpin.
Do you guys ever do grayscale to color? Is it better / harder? It's easy if your grayscale is really good, but not very many people are really good at doing grayscale. So it depends. I had to do a lot of it for work. You start in black and white, and then you go into color.
Yeah, and and once you're good at values, you can kind of just start in color and think in black and white in your head.
Yeah.
Butterfly.
It depends on the artist.
Yeah.
There are some really, really, really high-level artists that start in grayscale and add color later on a color layer. Ooh, that's nice.
Oh, that's pretty. I wonder how it looks on the hair, though.
I don't know. Like, what if even, like, this was the body? And
Oh,
it was like this,
okay.
and then, like, it was even like
Then I'll have to tilt it because it doesn't really look like a butterfly in that view, but I will try that.
I don't know. It was just a thought.
I like that, though. Let me try.
The fact that she has a bow and all that stuff may be enough anyways.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm going to do...
Oh, I know.
What?
We'll do something like this.
What are you doing? No! I don't want a nose ring on her. She doesn't wear nose rings, though. I need your second book so bad. My OC feels bad. Aw. No, I think...
Christina hates this.
I don't...
She's physically in pain.
I'm physically in pain.
And then you can have like a chain.
Please, no, I'm... Get out!
Ow! That was right on my vein.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to hit you that hard.
A chain going over to her ear.
No, we're not doing that. I can do a gold choker.
That'd be super cute. I guess that'll do.
Yeah.
Let him cook, they said.
Not allowed. Not allowed on this character.
Ooh, that's nice. You want me to render that
Yeah,
gold one?
you can render that gold one.
How little? That big?
Do whatever you want.
Okay. I like rendering.
Yeah, I know you do. I like rendering too.
So,
Here.
light
You sit
source.
down.
Fine.
You're-
So,
It's going to be bad for your back.
we could just do something like...
And by the way, character design and making characters look interesting takes a long time, Matt. So don't be don't be sad if it looks bland to you right now. Like, I think your Rikayan OC looked interesting. I mean, that's why I drew him. So yeah, it takes a long time to design. So, and it takes a lot of energy. Because the interesting thing about character design is most character designs will look pretty generic, because there's got to be some familiarity, right? So if your character looks too unique, and it doesn't really look anything super familiar, and it's just everything's just crazy, it could be a vibe, but just know that it won't really hit people as much.
It's not as relatable.
It's not as relatable.
People like things based on relatability. Well, I should say, you need relatability in your stories and characters, because that's why people like things. People like things that are like them.
Yeah.
So
Francis said, lol, sit down, fine. Look at the little expressions that they put in. And then this
I'm surprised she's letting me draw after what I just tried to do.
Well, I did the choker and you liked it, and I can trust that you're not going to ruin it. So.
Yeah.
Fistjacks said, tips for hands not getting tired and crunchy. Crunchy is an interesting word for hands.
Hold your pencil less tight. Don't check how hard you're holding your pencil. What should I say? How tightly you're gripping your pencil. That's better.
Yeah.
So yeah, we can just do that for now.
Do you think it needs to be warped a bit?
Did you make a new layer for it?
I made a new layer for it.
You did not.
Well, no.
Yeah, I think it needs to be warped a bit. I feel like, where's the warp? There?
Yeah.
Yeah, it needs to be like that. Much more.
This is how we kind of ideate between the two of us.
Yeah. Even though Christina was the artist, I'd art directed both of our books.
Yeah.
So nothing got approved for the book unless it went through me.
You sound like a Dawn. Is she a gold or silver girl? I think she's probably a gold and pearl girly, but I think she definitely likes silver as well. I just like putting like tan girls in gold. It just looks very pretty. Or tanner girls in gold. I think it's very nice.
We can add some a little bit darker over here as well. So
12 asks, what's the difference between JPEG and PNG?
There's a lot of really nerdy people online that hate JPEGs. They're supposed to be kind of a bad file size. I'm sure you could find really, really long essays online that talk all about how JPEGs should not exist and PNGs are better. But PNG has transparency settings, so you can have a picture with a clear background in PNGs. So people tend to use them for different stuff like that. PNGs, most of the time, I export for client work. But JPEGs, I don't really have a preference. I don't know the technical differences. You'd have to probably search it up. They're just different image types.
Thank you for sharing the live, Yugia. Matt said, imagine her name was Pearl. That might actually be kind of cute. Maybe she'll have a sister named Pearl. I have no idea.
Too much SpongeBob flashbacks.
Pearl!
Mother of Pearl. All right, that should be fine.
I like it.
It's aight.
No, I think it's really good.
Maybe get some nice... You know what I should have done from the beginning is I should have designed out these reflections a little bit more carefully.
Yes, this is an OC, Francis. I also thought Steven Universe... Sorry. I'm sorry, Colton.
Oh,
I was yelling into his ear.
She's yelling directly into my ear. I probably do that to her sometimes.
No, not really. I think I yell more because I want people to hear what I'm saying, even though I'm just a little bit farther away.
She's like 1 foot from the phone.
I know. My brain went to Steven Universe Pro. Yeah, I think of Steven Universe Pro as well.
I've never seen Steven Universe.
It's a fun show. I only watched like a clips of it, and I thought it was pretty entertaining. Why do teachers hate on anime art outside that you need to learn the basics first?
I think it's kind of a fundamental misunderstanding. Like, it's kind of assuming that anime doesn't have the basics. But I think it's founded from the fact that a lot of people do anime because they're trying to avoid learning foundation, but we don't approach art that way at all. Like, the best anime artists have a really good foundation.
Yeah.
Which I'm kind of replacing the word basics with foundation. I guess this is okay.
I like it.
There you go.
Add something else too. I don't know what. I very much like
Tattoosies.
Henna? Have you seen a henna?
Yeah, aren't hennas kind of like...
Let me look up henna.
Like, wait, I would need like symmetry to draw with like radial symmetry or something. I don't even know how to use that on the iPad. Whoa.
That's cool. Guys, look at this henna. It's so cool. Thank you.
Why did you just hate on anime art outside? I don't know. I don't hate on anime art at all. But I do recommend people learn foundation.
The thing is, a lot of art teachers, like, not to say... So there's a lot of art teachers that are, like, really good that do love anime. Like, they do anime for a living as well. But they also do, like, realistic things. So I feel like your traditional, like, elementary, middle school, high school art teachers don't like anime because they just don't have...
A lot of college professors.
Or college professors. They just don't understand it. Like,
the truth is, the anime industry is massive. And I think it's better now than any other time in history to get into anime-type art, especially if you like it.
Yeah. So is it, Fish Jacks asked, is it harder to get a job as a Westerner or European if you go for the anime styles?
I would say it depends on what you're trying to get a job at. I think Japan, as far as I know, I've had a couple friends who were animators in Japan. Japan tends to be very racist, especially if you're an Asian that's not Japanese. Westerners, I don't know as much. Look on the credits of anime. Very, 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 very few non-Japanese. But that may also be in large part due to the fact that there's just a bunch of very highly skilled Japanese out there at anime type art. I know there's like success stories of people who are from the West that are like, I got hired on this at this studio, yeehaw. But I don't know because I've never actually done it.
Yeah, just take our word for a grain of salt.
But I don't think that's all that big of a worry because the anime industry is going global. And because, look, Netflix has all these animes that are coming out, and anime is mainstream these days, which means that a lot of countries, I think, are going to start popping up anime studios. They're not going to be in Japanese. And maybe someone would make the argument, oh, well, then that's not actually anime. But it's the style.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Avatar Studios has started as well.
Well, there's also a lot of, like, free, like, indie studios for webtoons that aren't Japanese anymore. Like,
yeah, I mean, you can start a webtoon and make a living off of it if people read it.
So yeah, hopefully that answered your question, Fish Jacks.
There, we'll do that. And then what I'm kind of just loosely using this as a reference. People really like to go to kind of these
little swirlies. That's like a
swirlies
and dots.
And dots, yeah. So they go like.
I considered getting a henna at some point because they're very pretty. They're like
they're not permanent or anything, are they?
No, they wash off and fade up over time.
Yeah, they'll go like.
But they're very delicate and pretty.
Yeah.
Fish just asked, how do you get better at writing characters, lore stories for OCs?
Learn writing, take writing classes, study. Where's that book? Is it behind us? Nope. There's a book written by the person who wrote JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. It's on like the storytelling and character development and stuff like that. It's really, really good. It's called like Manga Theory and Practice. What is it called?
Manga Theory. I don't remember.
It might be in that stack.
The stack?
Yeah, we have so many books. Christina has to go on a scavenger hunt now.
No, I know what the color is like. Hold up.
They do henna at Arrowhead. Yeah, I did see that. Henna's not really my thing, so I never thought about it. It's a little bit small. I might take this layer.
That's not it.
What I'm trying to wonder is, what the heck? Why is there a thing all the way up there? What happened?
I feel like I know where it is, but at the same time, I don't know where it is.
I don't know.
I mean? It's like I have an idea of where it could be.
Well, it's probably in our house.
I know. Man, okay. It's definitely not here.
This is an ugly henna. I need to make the lines thicker.
Here it is.
She found it. I don't really like drawing these kind of things that much. I find it a little bit boring. Yes, this is a book. It's on Amazon. And remember, it's not a drawing book, right? Like how to create a setting. All elements connect to the theme, right? This is a book on writing, like how to create stories. Golden way to making protagonists. Make a list of motivations. Like, it's storytelling. Manga and anime is fundamentally no different than really any other type of storytelling.
Do you want me to take over?
Pokemon card bookmarker.
Yeah. It's a good book. I mean...
JoJo. So he wrote JoJo. I'd never seen it or read it. I think we saw like 5 episodes or something.
Yeah.
Making a living as a mangaka. So, yeah, really cool book. Again, if you want to screenshot it. But like I said, there's a lot of really, really high-level writers out there that talk about writing. Like Stephen King on writing is a really good book. He talks about being a professional writer because, again, people who write webcomics and mangas, they're writers. They're just communicating through images rather than words like blocks.
Man, look at that. That's
So
cool.
they have like this kind of stuff too.
Mm-hmm. It's like hatching.
Yeah, this is actually a really bad brush to do a henna with.
I'm sorry.
No, it's all good.
Well, you're also thinking of like how it wraps around the shoulder and stuff.
Yeah, I just don't really...
Oh, bye, Jamie. Thanks for coming.
There we go.
Do you normally use blend modes? Sometimes.
Very
Not a lot.
rarely these days. For work, I did a lot because you just have to... I know. I have a process of painting with some blend modes like multiply, but I don't use it very often these days. Mainly because I just like doing things by hand more. Like, I would never put this as a multiply layer. Oops. Well,
What? That's fun.
my hand derped, and I was on a really long line, so there we go.
Do you handpick colors? Most of the time, yeah.
Yeah.
I've handpicked basically all my colors on this painting.
Let's do that.
Oh, that's cute.
All right, and then, random stuff. They take a long time to draw, and they're not necessarily all that interesting in my opinion, so I'd never draw stuff like this.
I would draw stuff like this. This is my area.
This is like what's on the side of high school girls' homework.
Yeah. Designing hennas for high school notes.
Yeah.
Fistress also asks, how do you learn to draw blood? Any hacks? Studying?
Blood is dark.
Blood is very dark.
It's very dark. It's very saturated. Dry blood, wet blood react differently as well. It's not very translucent. Like, you can't really see light through it. It's very thick. Light doesn't transmit through it, which means that it's not going to have really any subsurface scattering.
Yeah.
What else should I do here?
Hey, Random B. There's a good question here. How do you decide what color to make the shadows of an object?
So that entirely depends on the material of the object and the color of your primary and secondary light. I'm sorry I don't have an easy answer, but I'll tell you the thing not to do. Don't pick a color and then just take it down and make that your shadow. That will be for a very boring shadow. You're going to want to move it either cooler, like this, or warmer, like this. Or if you have a secondary light source, so say, for example, let's just have like a ball. That's maybe...
Oh, Rin said I made a sketch for the sitting pose. That'll be fun to see.
If I have a ball, right, and I've got the lit side of this ball, and this is the local value of the ball, and I've got sunlight pointing at this ball. Well, the sunlight is pretty warm. If I have cool blue sky up here, like this, and I got my sky, well, that sky is my secondary light. So the sun is a primary light, and the sky is a secondary light. And what that means is... And also the sky is very soft because it surrounds the entire object. So what that means is you're generally going to get a much cooler shadow In this case, it'll probably be a lot more gray, maybe even like a purplish. So like even over here. And then the shadow of this ball is going to tend to be a lot like this. That's how I think about it. So we got warm light hitting here, and then we got this cool light filling here. But uh-oh, what happens?
Bounce light?
Bounce light happens. So what is the ground made of? Well, the ground usually gives really warm bounce. So that means the sunlight hits the ground and bounces back up here. So now to make things even more confusing, a lot of the time, you will actually get really, really warm in here, fill. But I need to make that lighter because it's a bounce light. You'll get really warm fill like this, fill light. So you're basically going to get some warm, some cool, right? So the part of the object that's right here is going to be cool in the shadow because it's not really getting that bounce as much. And the part of the shadow down here is going to get a lot more warm. But then as the ambient occlusion happens down here, you're generally just going to get a bit darker and it's not going to be super warm. So down in here, like that.
And there's no right or wrong color. We're going based on warm and cool rather than a specific color. So
it's completely contextual. There's no way to go, what color should the shadow be? It's like, well, what color is your light source? And it's also very flexible. So this is how a sphere would be rendered. So for example, imagine that Tira is in the sun and she's got, I don't know, she's got like a yellow panel on her right, like over here. Well, you're going to start getting some yellow fill from the light bouncing off.
On the edge.
On the edge. So what you're going to see is you're going to see this happening. It's not going to be bright, but it's going to fill that shadow. Like this. You're probably going to get some on her eye. You're going to get some here. You're going to get some on the edge of the face like that. This fill light right here. So in this case, would it make sense for me to go, oh, the shadow is yellow? Well, if there's a yellow panel here, then yes, the shadow would absolutely be yellow. Except not right here because the hair is covering it. And it would just be a little bit. It probably would be mostly on the nose. So the question of what color are shadows is entirely dependent on your lighting situation.
Your lighting, your background, what's surrounding it. So Ren was pretty close there.
Yes. I wasn't reading chat. I was drawing. How would you know where the light bounces? Light travels in a straight line. I teach this in my lighting class in anime art school. I think I also teach it a little bit on my YouTube video, Learn the Fundamentals of Art 2024.
And by the way, these concepts will also apply in traditional art. So I know that some people ask like, oh, like, what do you think of traditional artists? Or like, oh, well.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
It's all the same thing.
I mean, a line is a line whether it's on my iPad or a paper. And a brushstroke from a painting is a brushstroke whether it's on an iPad or a paper. So it's the same thing. The mediums have technicalities. Are shadows usually contrasting lighting? Sorry about all the questions. Not necessarily. It generally looks more aesthetically pleasing if you do. If you want to make something look like it's a sunny blue sky day, use this. You're going to get warm lights, cool shadows, warm bounce. In fact, landscape painters think in terms of 3 different things. So let's say that I have a rock here, right? Here's a rock. And this rock has... this rock is like this, and this part goes down. So again, I'll use these same colors here. This also works with faces. Light side. Warm light. Side that's being bounced from the ground. Super warm. Side that's facing away, cooler. So they generally work with 3 different colors. They work with warm, super warm, and cool. And that's because you have sun, bounce, and sky, or ambiently lit.
Just wanted to let you know.
Or I should say, I think I messed up. I should reverse these. What's up?
No, just Rin sent that pose, and it looks a lot better. Nice turning of the form, Rin. I like that you changed the angle a bit.
Sorry, I did this backwards. My bad. Wasn't paying attention. But the light, the surface that receives the bounce light. Where's my skull? Let's do a little demo here. I need like a piece of paper or something.
Okay. I don't know where the piece of paper will be.
Colored piece of paper under the table.
Okay. I don't know where that
Down here. I'm going to get a black piece of paper. And here's all the colored pieces of paper down here.
Okay.
And then a white piece of
Should I
paper.
just pick a random one?
Sure. So, skull. Oh, I got blue. I got my little note card here.
Oh, okay.
So let me turn on these lights. We got a skull here.
You want me to take this chat out?
Sure. So let me actually turn this light off. Here. And then this one. So I got a light on the left, right? This skull is being lit from this side. If I put a piece of paper here, it blocks the light, and so there's a shadow, right? If I put, let me get the yellow. I have a yellow card. See how that skull lights up with yellow as I move that paper closer? That's what's happening on Tira's face. That's fill light. So the card acts like a rectangular light, and it's coming from that direction, right? But if I take it away, look how the light fall off happens as I take it away. So if it's right next to the face, very strong fill. If I move it away, even just a couple of inches, you can see it goes down. I'm telling you, light fall off is really, really fast. There's an equation called like the inverse square ratio, where the further your light gets away, the faster it falls off. It's actually an exponential curve falling off.
Yeah, what I actually think is really interesting is that it's only filled in the shadow and not the
Yes,
highlights. The highlights
but look,
are all in the same
here's
space.
blue. But look, you don't get nearly as much bounce. Why? Because this blue is not very light. Light colors bounce more. So if I use a black piece of paper, right, here's a big black piece of paper.
It'll just make it a bit darker.
All you see is a little bit of a reflection of the paper because the skull's kind of reflective, and it creates a little bit of ambient occlusion because there's like a window in front of me. But if I block that window, look at that.
Wow.
Blocked, not blocked. Blocked, not blocked. You see that there's like this bluish fill in all of here from the window. It's a sunny day out. And if I block it, no more blue fill. So play around with that kind of stuff. And so when I'm thinking about lighting, I'm thinking about all those kind of things. This comes from doing a lot of rendering practice. So again, if I take away, can't really see it. There we go. See? It can be that subtle. See? On, off. Yellow bounce, no yellow bounce. And now watch. Same thing with the skull. Broke his jaw. Okay.
Dislocated it.
Yellow bounce, no yellow bounce. Yellow bounce, no yellow bounce. It almost looks the same. See? So that should help. And if I had like different colored cards and stuff, that would help a lot. And actually, if I close this window so it gets a lot darker in here, this is going to be way more crazy.
Wow.
See?
Context.
Look at that. And because I closed the blinds, now you'll see that blue come in a lot more here. But just know, the lighter the value of your color, the more it's going to bounce and the more it's going to receive bounce light.
I just realized there's no shadow.
So so here's my black piece of paper. If I curve this, well, this is a little bit of a smooth object, but if I curve this, here's a cylinder. Here's the lit side. Here's the core shadow. Here's the side that receives bounce. If I put this yellow paper over here, you can see that cylinder start to get that bounce light. See? There it is. There's the yellow. There's not the yellow. So you can think of this as like an arm. So that demo that I did recently, can you pull up that cylinder demo?
Yes. Someone asked how to deal with burnout, but we'll have to answer that soon.
So I'm not reading chat because I'm paying attention. Christina, are you reading chat?
Yeah, I am reading chat. I just didn't want to interrupt you. Okay, let me go find that
I'm deaf, still going to practice this a lot. Awesome, actually super
Here it is.
helpful. Well, you're right. Okay, so look, I painted last night the exact thing that I just showed with that piece of paper. You got your light, your core, your shadowed side, and then because the paper wasn't sitting on the ground, there wasn't any ambient occlusion, but you get the light, the core, the shadow. And now watch, I'll recreate the same thing. Or not the light, the core, the bounce, sorry, not shadow. It's the light, the core. There's no bounce right now because I got nothing on my left or my right. But if I pull this in, now you've got bounce. See? And if I raise it up to let that paper receive more light, watch. If this paper doesn't receive light, it's being blocked by the cylinder. I'm not getting much bounce. But if I pull this up into the light, look at that.
You'll notice that the core actually doesn't really change either.
The core is in the same spot because my light hasn't actually moved. Just like that. So I hope that is helpful. That's exactly what I'm thinking when I'm painting light of a yellow bounce into the face. As I'm going, what planes on the face, if I make a new layer really quick and I like wireframe the face a little bit, right? Here's her nose. Here's her mouth, right? Here's this. It's going down. There's the eye. There's the cheek. And it's going like that. What?
Hey, what are you guys showing this live? I just got here.
We're talking about rendering anime faces. And I'm talking about bounce light coming off of a yellow panel, and it's filling the shadowed side of this face. So again, think about this as a, right, as a form like this. What planes in here are facing towards this yellow panel that are not being blocked by the hair? And so I'm using a little bit of artistic liberty. I think this would actually be a little bit less lit, but I'm increasing it just a little bit because I think it looks good.
What's interesting is that with art, you kind of got to lie a bit.
Yes, art. This is the best quote you'll hear all day. I didn't come up with it. Nathan Fowkes, a background painter who was a DreamWorks artist for a really long time. He said, "Art is telling a bunch of little white lies in order to reveal a greater truth." So you have to lie in your art to get the bigger message across. And so I'm lying about this yellow because I want people to know, hey, there's yellow filling this shadow. And that's what photographers do as well. That's why like people go into Lightroom and Photoshop and stuff, because like they tell a greater truth by editing. Through editing, their message really gets across.
The thing is, being an artist and being a really high level artist is manipulating it really well. Is manipulating the truth really well.
Yeah.
To the point it looks convincing. So that's also what makes it really hard, right? Because a lot of the time when you are just starting art, you want to make everything as realistic as possible, but sometimes the realistic part may not look as good.
You will get to a point in art where you can make things photorealistic, and then you'll go, but how can I show more with less? And that's when you start stylizing things. I find it very fascinating. But yeah, so if Christina were to light this head, what did she do? Here's the shadowed side. Right? Light coming from the top. Here's shadow, right? There would be shadow under the nose like that. This would be shadow. This would all be shadow.
Bye, 12. Good night.
This would all be shadow. Like that. So it's basic form rendering. Mm-hmm. Anime, people get confused. People think that because they draw anime, they don't have to learn proper form rendering. Anime heads are just a different shape or form than real heads. Like a real head
will have more.
The nose would come out a lot more like this. Right? You'd have these three planes generally right here for the brow ridge. You'd have a sphere for the eye. You'd have an eyelid coming over like this. You'd have that. It looks really, really weird, but like this is what you would do for a real head. An anime head is just a simplification of the real planes. So what you get is you get this. Right? Instead of all that eyelid, eyeball, bottom eyelid, cheekbone, all that, you're smoothing everything out. It's still a form. And then what you're doing is you're just cell shading it. So instead of rendering it like this, you're just simplifying these shadows and going, that's a shadow, or that's a shadow. So that's probably why art teachers get annoyed at anime, is because maybe the confusion there.
Yeah, it looks like cartoony and like you don't use. It's just a misunderstanding.
Yeah, I would say it depends on the style. Anime is like realism, but more cats features. It really depends on the style, because like
not every
anime that looks like a cat is kind of like that, right? Like a cat face.
Side profile. Good job.
But not all anime is like that. Look at like different styles.
Yeah.
So a lot of anime is like that, but not all of it.
Yeah. It depends on how you want to style it.
Yeah.
So someone asked, oh, and thank you. They said, you guys helped me get so much better in just one live. Thank you. You're welcome.
How would the head look if light is coming from a different angle than the top? Well, then this side would be lit and this side would be in shadow. That's why it's important to understand the forms of the head. So study things like the Asaro head right here, where the light can change where it's coming from and the planes will be lit from different angles. So you'll essentially be able to light a head from any angle you want.
Someone said, with writing, is it the same idea with quantity over quality?
I don't know. I'm not a professional writer.
Me neither.
I would guess it's probably quantity over quality, but you're going to really, really, really need some good high quality critiques from professional writers, because you won't know where you're going wrong otherwise. Writing classes. That's why so many people invest in education. Ooh, that's
pretty cool. I think you did a good job.
Yeah, I think it needs to be a little bit different, but I'm not going to finish it. I don't feel like it. So maybe a little bit more of the bounce light right here. Plane. There's going to be a plane here. There's a plane on this side of the mouth. If I'm going really exaggerated, might be a little highlight right here, right? There's maybe a little bit of it right here. See, if I'm going really exaggerated, just to prove the point. Like that sort of thing. So skin is pretty matte unless it's oily or wet. Matte meaning it's not very reflective.
Yeah. Notice that I added highlights only in certain areas like the eyelids and the lips.
Any tips on burnout? I was burned out for a really, really long time and eventually got over it. And there's a thing called cognitive reframing, and that's usually how you solve larger, like mental, or I should say more like psychological things in your life where like you're burned out or you don't enjoy something that you used to. It's usually because over time a toxic idea or a toxic mentality has crept into your life. So maybe go to like counseling or go to a psychologist. They can help with that. But basically you're probably going to have to start looking at art in a new way. So you can help that by joining communities. Try to remember why you got into art in the first place. What did you enjoy about it? A lot of kids like art because they just enjoy drawing. They don't have expectations of how it's going to turn out.
They don't have other things bleeding into their head from other influences.
Reading is very important when it comes to writing. Yes, absolutely. But you have to pay attention to what you're reading. Study what you're reading. How do they tell stories? I would even keep a notebook. How did they develop this character? What happened? When did I feel the most emotion when I was reading this story? Why did that make me angry? And like really try to break it down. It's like conscious learning. Just watching a bunch of movies and reading a bunch of books without thinking about them won't really help you very much. But yes, reading is very important. I think Stephen King said he reads about 50 books a year.
Oh my goodness. It's a reason why he's a master of his craft.
How did you know you were burned out? Because I didn't enjoy drawing.
So there's like certain signs.
I didn't want to get up and draw. I had to because I did it for a job, but I didn't enjoy it. I didn't want to do it, and I didn't do it for fun.
There's like certain signs if you're burned out. It's usually when you start dreading the idea of drawing and you start getting more negative thoughts in your head than positive experiences.
I hope that little lecture on lighting and stuff was helpful.
I think it's very helpful. Do you mind if I erase the yellow, though? Or maybe I'll change it to a different color. I don't know what you want me to do.
I don't care. I would rather keep it.
Okay, I'll keep it. I want to change the hue.
You can change the hue. Yellow is just very easy to see.
Yes, it is very easy to see. So, hue.
Yeah. Juicy drip, that's great. Like scrolling on Pinterest to inspire new ideas or new looks. That's great.
Kind of looking.
Awesome, Autumn. I'm glad it was helpful. You'll get to those lessons eventually in anime art school.
I think blue's kind of cool. I don't know, though.
You can repaint it if you want.
Maybe I'll add a bit of this pink in there.
You're going to do so many rendering assignments, Autumn, in my painting class.
You're going to get so good. It's gonna be
do
crazy.
I have those? Where do I have them again? I showed them before on stream. But where the heck are they? So here's some of my stuff from anime art school. This is like what I teach in my classes. I teach backgrounds, environments, how to think about overlaps and landscapes. I teach about form drawing, XYZ, section drawing like this. I teach about drawing objects from different angles, keeping the same proportions, like this sort of thing. Simply, I teach about drawing objects at different angles in perspective.
It is full payment upfront. But if you want a payment plan, you gotta DM us for that.
Yeah, you can DM us for a payment plan. There's also a 14-day money-back guarantee. If you send us an email asking for a refund in 14 days, you'll get everything back.
How do I find your class? It is on the link in our bio.
But yeah. So, link in our bio. Also, at drawanimeacademy.com. So, you can go to the link in our bio, or you can go to that website. Let me try to find my rendering stuff.
I saw someone. Fish Jack says, "How do you work in stages without getting distracted or forgetting steps or worrying about it sucking?" So that's a 3-tiered problem right there.
Down.
Write it down.
Write down the steps and check them off as you do it. That's a really, really good way to do it. A lot of students do that. They write the stages of it down, and then they check it off as they complete the stages. Now I got that song stuck in my head.
What song?
Oh, no.
I wonder if
I guess I don't have it saved on my iPad.
Which
I'd have
one?
to search it up. My rendering class stuff.
but you the bedroom.
Just the whole process.
Oh, I see.
It is kind of funny how our guy that's updating the Discord server made all the new channels, but didn't add any permissions to them.
That's so funny. Someone, Fish Jack asked again, how do you know your drawing is finished?
That's up to you.
That's up to you.
So there's a really interesting thing when you start getting high level at drawing. Or actually, no, I'm going to talk you through a little thing I learned when I was in design school. So if you want your drawing to look finished at any stage, you have to remember focal point and silhouette. Silhouette?
Yep.
Focus on these two things. Make sure that your focal point has something to look at, and make sure your silhouette is solid. So, for example, what?
I need to move it over. Oh, okay, never mind. You're good.
So, for example, Christina's drawing right now looks finished. She could work on it for 20 more hours, but it looks finished right now. If you go, do you have your sketch?
No, I don't.
You don't?
I don't. Oh, yeah, I do, actually.
Yeah.
I do. It was duplicated. This layer right here. Hold up. Wait.
That's not it.
It's not it? Is it that one up there? I think
It's got to be this one.
I hope it is. Nope.
Nope.
Maybe I merged
maybe you
everything.
merged it
I
on
think I merged
accident.
everything.
Okay, well, she doesn't have her sketch anymore, but
Yeah, I don't have it anymore.
anyways, I need to turn all these back on now. What layers need to not go on? This one needs to not go on. And that's
Okay,
it.
we're good.
So, anyways, Christina's sketch looks finished, even though it's a sketched. So, Realize you aren't really smudging or blurring. Is there a reason for that? She just doesn't smudge or blur very much.
Well, I mean, yeah. I don't use
So how to make your artwork look finished. How to know when it's finished. Number one, it's finished when you call it done. But how to make it look finished, you want the focal point to have enough interest that it'll hold your attention. And you want to make sure that the silhouette holds, which means this drawing has a really clear silhouette. So if this was messy, like... I don't even know how to smudge.
You're going to have to merge everything again.
Yeah, I'd have to make a new layer on top and smudge it. I don't even know how. But anyways, if this was like messy.
Just merge everything.
You want to merge
Just merge,
everything?
except for the wireframe. Yeah, just merge it. So it's easier to see.
There we go. Make sure it's not. So, for example, if this silhouette, if I just mess this silhouette up like this, pretty much everywhere, you'll notice that this drawing won't really look finished anymore. And your eye will kind of just fall right out of the drawing. So if I go over here and I just mess all this up and I mess all that up.
It's kind of cool looking
and
though.
I mess all that up. And then I mess some of this up. And I mess some of this up. Don't worry, I'll undo this.
I know.
If you're losing your minds in chat. And I mess up these silhouettes, like the silhouette of the chin. And the hard edges, right? Finish comes from a dance between hard and soft edges. So you can still see it looks kind of finished because we got this hard edge in the eye and it gives you something to look at. So as long as I take away hard, crisp edges that give you something to look at, you'll no longer know where to look and it won't look finished anymore. So here's some hard edges up here. So the more you
refine,
the more you have a dance between hard and soft edges, which is like silhouettes of things, the better... the more finished your artwork will look at any level. So that's why some people can do a quick sketch and it looks finished, but maybe you do a drawing that you work 3 hours on and it doesn't look finished.
In fact, I'm kind of wondering, what if I took out some edges?
Yes. So edges, you look at sharpness and you don't look at...
Just undo that real quick. Okay. There we go. Wait, undo. Okay.
So another little demo. This is in one of James Gurney's books. Really, really good. Edges. So imagine, I'm going to make that a little bit lighter. And then you take this, and you do that, and you take another one, and you do that, and then you take your smudge brush and go down here, and I mess this one up, but not the one on the left. Your eye will be drawn, haha, to this one right here because there's a hard edge to look at. Another example is if I draw this and I smudge 3 edges of it, 3, your eye will be drawn to the hard edge, which is, this one right here. So you do that in painting to capture people's attention.
So smudging, someone asked, like, why don't I smudge or blend or blur? It's because it's more of a strategic thing.
It's for me. Personal preference.
It's a personal preference. I mean, I kind of blur and smudge, but I do it more manually. Like, these are not very harsh edges. If I want a softer edge, I can just paint over it and just say it's, like, kind of smudgy, It has that effect. But essentially, if I were to smudge this, I would only be very selective with where I smudge. Like, some edge, maybe I want like a lost edge here, which I'm not very good with lost edges, but like essentially, it's just blurring some areas.
People have different ways of losing edges. Some people literally just go like that.
Yeah.
Like, if you look at Ahmed Al-Duri's work, he teaches in his class a little bit of edge control, or I should say lost and found edges. And he'll just like kind of go, oh yeah, I'll mess that edge up. Or yeah, I kind of want to mess that edge up. And you'll notice that some people kind of just like do that.
Like pull it.
But they'll be very conscious of where they're doing it. Like, they're going, what hard edge do I want people looking at? And where do I kind of want to lose it? And so, people will do that. And they'll go, oh, maybe I want this forehead edge a little bit less. And maybe I'll like blur this eye, but I'll keep that hard edge from earlier in there. So just think about that. You're directing people's attention. So people will look at hard edges and they'll not look at soft edges as much. So where do you want people to look?
I kind of want this part blurred. And that becomes grouped. And that, you know, doesn't become as crisp.
Yeah.
But I'm only doing like very subtly at this point.
This is a design principle, by the way. Design is something that's a little bit more complicated than what we would get into on stream.
Yeah.
It's kind of complex. All visual art is about directing people's attention. So.
I like that pink. There we go.
Time is it?
It's
4:53.
Wow, it's late.
Yeah, we've been streaming for a long time.
I want to add a bit of pink.
Rin said they posted poses in the Discord.
Awesome.
Sitting.
Yeah, I remember seeing that pose, Rin. Unless you posted another one. I thought it was good. Let me go look at it just to show. Wait, where?
You're in the right server.
Yeah, I am.
It's an art sharer.
It's an art
down. I don't know what art share it's in.
I think it's an art share one. There it is.
Well, yeah, there we go. Nice work.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's in a better direction than it was before because you see a nice dimension in there. I can see that you're crossing the feet over a little bit more. So, yeah.
Very good.
Very
Keep
good.
it up.
Yeah.
Do like 5-10 more of those.
And pick the
you'll
one.
get so much practice from it.
Yeah. And also, don't be afraid if it doesn't look perfect. You know, just.
How do you make an anime girl look like a teen/adult? Body types. Study body types.
Study body type. Study where how it differs from an adult. I don't think I'll go over it that much. What? I want to add a little bit of this pink on the edge. Right there, and there, and there. And now it feels like there's like a panel behind her because it's like spreading more across the image. I love how you teach. Literally love it. Oh, thank you, Rin. Yeah, you did make it better. I think it looks more fluid than what you had before. I think what you had before was good already. I just think that maybe once you change the angle a bit more, like you did just now, I think it made it look more dimensional. I think it showed a lot more sides to the body. Yeah. So I think you did a good job on that.
Oh, I forgot to add the bounce light to the hair.
Oh.
Your bounce light is getting a little bit intense, so it actually looks like it's a physical light rather than bounce.
Oh.
But that's fine if you want to do that.
Yeah, it is looking a bit too intense, isn't it?
And this part up here is completely blocked by the hair.
Yes, you are right. So I will take that pink out.
Rendering is basically turning your brain into like a little physics engine.
Yeah.
Like a computer 3D software. And then your understanding of art and design overrides that, and you start like taking artistic liberties.
Oh, there it is. That's cute. Very nice. Very nice.
Matt, I don't know if you were talking about the face or the body. But yeah, make the eyes bigger, lower them for younger. You can finish that henna if you want.
Okay, I think I'll redo the henna, to be honest. Or actually, no, I'll add more on it. I like drawing them.
I would need to draw a couple hennas in order to understand exactly what they look like.
Let me go back to that reference. Yeah, this isn't a really good that good of a brush for a henna.
No, it's really bad. Henna, like a hard round would be really good for it.
Yeah.
That doesn't really have any opacity on.
Yeah.
All right, sorry guys, phone died.
So we're just hand holding it now. Anyways, we did a lot of stuff during the stream. So hopefully that this was all very helpful.
Our apologies.
Yeah.
Hey, it's good when we stream and the phone died.
Yeah, I know.
It means we've been live for a long time.
Long time. It's fun streaming.
For, 3.5?
Yeah.
Hey, it's good when we stream and the phone died.
Yeah, I know.
It means we've been live for a long time.
Long time. It's fun streaming.
For, 3.5 free as long as we can make a living. So if you have friends who are interested in it, tell them about it. All
we'll
right,
be on
everybody.
next one. We'll be on later this week, like Wednesday
This
or
week,
something.
yeah. And maybe we'll do like a sneaky little
Evening stream.
sometime.
Yeah. All right, y'all.
Yep. There she is.
Man, the eye was so bad earlier. I'm excited to see this on the VOD.
Yeah. We'll put this up as a VOD later.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
See ya, everybody. Thanks for showing up.
Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you, Autumn. All right, bye.